It is 10:01. Good morning from the Circa Sports at the Mint, Kentucky Downs, 104.5 The Zone studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. The city of Nashville is currently hosting a press conference at Nissan Stadium, officially announcing Nashville as the host of Super Bowl 64 happening in 2030 at the new Nissan Stadium. Jim Nantz emceeing the event, Governor Bill Lee, Mayor Freddie O'Connell, Titans President Burke Nihill, and multiple others are speaking. Last night in the NBA playoffs, the New York Knicks trailed by 22 with less than 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, but charged back behind a 38-point performance from Jalen Brunson to beat the Cavaliers in overtime, 115-104 at Madison Square Garden, taking Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals in the biggest playoff comeback in New York Knicks history. The SEC baseball tournament got underway Tuesday in Hoover, and both Tennessee and Vanderbilt moved on to the next round. Vandy with an 8-5 win over Kentucky, Tennessee an 11-6 final over South Carolina. It continues this afternoon. Vanderbilt facing Florida for a 1 p.m. first pitch. Tennessee scheduled to take on Arkansas at 4:30. Tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Western Conference Finals get underway with Game 1 between the Golden Knights and Avalanche in Denver. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. Good morning. Welcome into 104.5 The Zone on this cloudy and seems to be rainy Wednesday. Glad to have you with us. We are, of course, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Be sure to download the Hattie B's app today. Lucas and Bert with you. Buck is currently at Nissan Stadium. You'll know he'll never take an opportunity to not have to do his own show. He is currently taking in the press conference that is being held at Nissan Stadium with a multitude of voices celebrating and making officially official the Titans as or Nashville, I should say, as the host of the 2030 Super Bowl, Super Bowl 64. So Jim Nantz, of course, famously resident of Nashville, Tennessee, emceeing the event. We've got Governor I'm about to say Burke Nihill.
God, I wish our governor was Bill Nye. That would be so cool.
What's Bill Nye up to these days?
Saving the world. You know, running science fairs and all that stuff that Bill Nye does.
When did that cutoff happen? When did kids stop being educated in scientific matters by Bill Nye, the science guy?
It would have been fine if you just stopped it right there. When did kids stop being educated? I don't know. Did you watch his Netflix special, the Bill Nye Saves the World stuff?
No.
It came out like before COVID, maybe like 2018. But he would have different people on and talk about like different scientific things and how we can help protect the planet and the environment. It was really good. I think it's on Netflix.
I'll add it to the list. We are so good at getting off track. Can I say that? I think we are so good at it.
Yeah, we need to get back on track. First, I want to thank I had no idea that Jim Nantz was a Nashville resident. And I also had no idea that he was at this press conference today. So first and foremost, I want to thank Nashville resident Jim Nantz for being at the 2030 Super Bowl unveiling press conference. It was just exceptional. Everyone that got to come up there and talk, just very informational, definitely not self-glazing. Everything was fun. A lot of fun and very informational. A ton of fun listening to it. Very informational.
Was it informational?
So much fun and information was gathered from this press conference, which is still going on, by the way.
I think it just ended.
Oh, really?
As of 5 minutes ago, the live stream, at least the live stream that you and I were watching in the production studio, has concluded.
Oh, so the information and fun has ceased. That is unfortunate. That is unfortunate.
Amy Adams Strunk was in attendance, and I believe there is media availability happening. We'll see. I guess they're not streaming that portion of it. We will see who is being asked questions. What are the odds Buck even asked a question?
Probably zero.
I'm saying zero.
Yeah, I'd agree with you.
Dude, just there to not have to work today. So he'll be here at some point, but it is a big deal, obviously. And Jim Nantz, I'm seeing it. saying that he believes Nashville will host the Super Bowl multiple times, as he believes Nashville will be the best host the Super Bowl has ever had, as well as Governor Bill Lee, Mayor Freddie O'Connell, Titans President Burke Nihill, Deanna Ivey. The list goes on and on.
No, keep reading them, yes.
Up on that stage. I think I've
Jim
reached
Nance?
them all. Peter O'Reilly from the NFL, and of course, who can forget the esteemed Jim Nance.
Appreciate him being their Nashville resident, Jim Nance.
So we heard it from Dan Patrick a few weeks ago, saying essentially that pen to paper was down on Nashville as the host of the 2030 Super Bowl at the new Nissan Stadium. We learned a few days ago that NFL owners were going to vote on it and that Nashville was expected to be named. And then it became official yesterday, unanimous vote, 32-0, that Nashville will host the 2030 Super Bowl. And now press conferences today to essentially celebrate that fact. And there will be a lot going on downtown tonight at 7:30, a Super Bowl community celebration on Lower Broadway. There will be live music. There will be a drone show, brief fireworks, special guests. Marty Smith is emceeing the event, which is pretty cool. So if any of you guys are willing to brave downtown Nashville, then go check that out, because it is something to be celebrated. There's no doubt about it. And we're going to talk about, there's a lot to talk about today, but we're going to discuss where Nashville kind of goes from here, right? The Super Bowl has felt like the pinnacle of all of this for so long. The building of the new Nissan Stadium, the drywall going up, looking like what it's going to look like. But the pinnacle of Nashville building as a city, right? As just a metropolitan giant, I feel like the Super Bowl has been the pinnacle of that. So you, as a Nashville resident, as a sports fan in Nashville, curious to know where you guys or what you guys want to see Nashville do next. What's the next step after hosting the biggest sporting event in the United States of America? So much to discuss. We've got anonymous coaches' quotes in the SEC. We've got NFL headlines, and we've got OTAs firing up over at the Titans practice facility. Robert Saleh will meet with the media tomorrow. You can hear that presser, of course, here on the show. But last night, there was more electric NBA conference final action as the New York Knicks pulled off one of the greatest comebacks in NBA playoff history.
Definitely the greatest in Knicks history, right?
Without a doubt, the greatest in Knicks history. Down 22 with less than 8 minutes to play, and it's Jalen Brunson, 38 points on the night, leading the Knicks, charging back at a rockin' MSG to beat the Cavs, to really run away from the Cavs in overtime. The extra period was not even contested. 14-3 in those extra 5 minutes for New York to take game one of the Eastern Conference Finals, 115-104. Incredible game in an NBA playoffs that it feels like at no point has had back-to-back games, whether in a series or just overall on a TV slate. It feels like there's not been back-to-back games where it's just been must-see TV. Well, we've had that now with Game 1 in the Western Conference Finals, double overtime between Thunder and Spurs, and, of course, in the East, last night, overtime between Knicks and Cavs. Now, this morning was spent watching the highlights, reading up on it, looking back at what happened. Robert, because I made a fatal mistake last night, and I told myself as I was watching this game in the second half that if the Knicks can't get within 15 with 9 minutes to go, I'm going to bed. And they did it. It was like a 17-point game, 9-10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And I said, you know what? Just got back from playing a soccer game. I'm a little banged up this morning. Said, I'm going to go to bed early. I'm going to get a good night's sleep. This game is done and dusted. The Knicks just don't seem to have the juice. Cavs were in full control. And I was furious to wake up this morning to see that the Knicks did indeed complete the comeback. That not only were they down 17, but that lead ballooned to 22 for Cleveland before New York just started going right at James Harden. Before New York went on a 41-11 flurry over the Cavs down the stretch to close that game out and take game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. Is there anything worse as a sports fan when you're watching a game, put aside heartbreaking losses and watching, your team play and some of the heartbreak that comes with that? Is there anything worse as a sports fan watching neutrally than that happening? Than making that decision that you're going to bow out, get an early bedtime, and waking up to realize that you missed one of the greatest playoff comebacks in the history of the league?
The only thing worse than that would be is if it was your team that you were like, depression nap time. I'm not. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to listen to the post game. I can't watch this anymore. My team's flailing. They don't even look like a team that I know. I'm going to bed. And then you wake up and your team pulled the comeback off and you didn't believe in them. That, in my opinion, would be the only thing that is worse than the situation you're describing.
615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Of course, you can also jump in on the F&M Bank chat, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, where Emily asks, how was picture day yesterday? How would you describe our picture day experience?
Quick, quaint. We got some good flicks, got out of there. It was very nice. You and I did some maternity-esque photos.
Yes.
Had some fun. It was a great time. What was our photographer's name? Did you catch his name?
Justin. Shout out to our guy, Justin Renfro, who provided the photography skills for everybody at the station yesterday.
Brother of Hunter.
Yeah.
Hunter Renfro.
I don't think that's proven.
No, I'm pretty sure they shared stature. Do
you have an egregious example of that, of a situation that you can clearly remember where you said, okay, that's enough of this. I'm not going to stick it out these last few minutes. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to go do whatever, run this errand, and realize that you missed an incredible moment in sports?
I've had the inverse happen where I thought my team was well at hand and I left. So it was maybe week 9 or week 10 in college football. UCF came to ECU. Huge game, night game. Everyone's excited. The Pirates look like they're going to pull it off. People start leaving. We're up by, I believe at the time, 13 points. There's like 6 minutes left to go. Okay, let's go ahead and get a spot at 519. Let's go ahead and head down there, get a spot at the bar. We can watch the rest of it and beat the crowds. By the time I got to the bar, just enough time for me to see Brashad Perryman pull down an 85-yard Hail Mary to win the game. A snap where our DBs had their chin straps unhooked. They were taunting to the crowd. They run out there. It was even worse because our head coach kneeled on the possessions before. He did the surrender kneel like we were up, gave it back to them. There was like 9 seconds left.
Oh, my goodness.
Just enough time for one play. And old dude heaves it up over the shoulder. Touchdown. Just deflating loss. I got very appropriately drunk that night.
But that is a situation where if that's going to happen, wouldn't you rather have left to not have to witness that in the state? Because then you do have to be a part of the egress of the stadium and the foot traffic, and you're just miserable trying to get back to a spot where you can get home. The only thing that sounds like could make that worse is actually staying in the stadium to see out what seems like a sure win and having your heart ripped out.
I don't know. I could have been on a trip around the world. I could have been on the Mayflower, the Titanic, anywhere, and I would felt more anger just for that moment than the ship going down. I don't know. I think I would have been upset no matter what. I was inconsolable. I'm pretty sure I had to leave that, and we went to Stouts, which is like this German little walk-in dive bar, and I was just continue to feed me. Just sling them down the bar like an old-school bartender. I don't care anymore.
Tighten up, anchor down on the F&M Bank chat. Speaking of anchor down, Vanderbilt surviving in the opening round of the SEC tournament yesterday, moving past Kentucky. Tennessee doing the same against South Carolina. They both go again today. Vanderbilt throwing first pitch at 1 p.m. You obviously take that with a grain of salt at the SEC tournament where these games, the game before Vanderbilt went like 4 hours yesterday. Vandy facing Florida at 1. Tennessee looking to upset Arkansas at 4:30. So we'll see if the Vols can salvage, something in the postseason here in what's been, understandably, a transitional period with Josh Elander as the head coach. Tennessee winning back-to-back opening games at the SEC tournament, or opening games in back-to-back years, I should say, for the first time since the early 90s yesterday. We'll see if they can keep that going. But tighten up, anchor down in the chat says, left a live Braves game once when they were getting crushed, but then they won with a walk-off home run.
He later corrects that and says, sorry, it was a walk-off grand slam.
Terrible, but this is worse. Kent on YouTube says, I missed the Music City Miracle. I walked out of my living room and went outside.
Ooh.
And we've all been there, right?
Whoa.
Where you just have to, you've taken the gut punch and you just have to walk outside And maybe you're doing the surrender cobra on your front porch,
smoking an angry cig. Who's the celebrity that they got a picture of him going outside leaning against the wall and he was just
Ben Affleck?
Yes, you just have to hit the Ben Affleck one time.
You just got to take a walk. You got to get some fresh air and then come back and realize that the Titans pulled off the miracle. It's quite a confluence of emotions, right? Because you can't believe it's happened. You're ecstatic, you're thrilled, but then you also know at the same time that it will always be a moment that you remember as you missed it. That's tough. That's tough for Kent. Dixie says Titans, Giants 06, Vince Young rookie year, 21-0, heading into the fourth. Everyone in our group left except me and my grandma, and the Titans came back and won.
Ooh.
It's always the grandmas that are there to say, now hang on, this isn't over. So shout out to your grandma.
There is a
Dixie.
specific game. Maybe I'll tell it in the next segment. This story, I was going to break up with my college girlfriend around November. And when I tried to break up with her, she was crying and told me, I had already bought you your Christmas presents. And I was like, look, it's just not working out. Like, it's not you, it's me. This isn't where we need to be in a relationship. But I got you tickets to the Ravens-Vikings game.
Oh.
Okay, now hold on. We can work this out. Now, maybe I was a little forward in my anticipation of our relationship, and we should really give this time to grow. I'll tell you how that Ravens game went at some point today when we run out of steam.
Okay, I do want to hear about that. But the Knicks, in incredible fashion, storm back. I mean, outscored in the second quarter, 32-23. Outscored in the third quarter, 35-23. Starting to lose control. And then to outscore the Cavs, charging back 32-18 in the fourth, 14-3 in the extra period, and that place was going bonkers looking back at it. So the Knicks take the 1-0 series lead into Game 2 at Madison Square Garden before that series shifts over to Cleveland in Game 3. So electric stuff to start conference finals in the NBA. Truly, you cannot ask for a better start. Jalen Brunson continuing to make his case to be one of the faces of the league. Absolutely incredible yesterday at MSG. And from a pure chaos standpoint, Robert, as somebody that does not have an NBA allegiance, I am always all in for the Knicks when they're getting to this point in the postseason.
We talked about tortured fan bases yesterday. The Knicks have to be one of the more tortured fan bases in modern sports.
Yes. So incredible stuff last night. Conference finals get underway in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. In the West, we've got the Golden Knights visiting the Colorado Avalanche. Do love this time of year. High stakes stuff each and every night. Okay, 615-737-1045. Where does the city of Nashville go from here? We know Nashville's hosting the Super Bowl. What's next for you? There isn't really anything a rung higher than the Super Bowl in the United States. But for you personally, where do you want to see Nashville pivot as, understandably, you feel like the momentum will only grow from here? 615-737-1045. We'll get to your phone calls next on 1045 The Zone.
Two Rivers Ford is the South's most trusted Ford dealer for so many reasons, and they win awards, literally win awards for their level of customer service. This has always been the case at Two Rivers Ford, and they've been in business for over 4 decades, and that's because they care about the customer with things like the employee pricing for everyone that is going on right now at Two Rivers Ford. That means you pay what they pay on nearly every Ford on the lot. Two Rivers always goes above and beyond to make sure the customer service experience is fast, easy, and more fun, and now making it more cost effective. Their sales staff does not work on commission, so they're not trying to upsell you on something that you don't necessarily need or may not be a fit for your family's budget. As you talked about prior to arriving at the dealership, it's a no-pressure experience and a cost-effective experience at Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. Local, honest, real, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
So there's no debate when it comes to sporting events, moments, pinnacles in the United States. The Super Bowl is Everest Peak, right? It doesn't get any bigger than hosting the Super Bowl when you're talking about it from the perspective of a city. So we know now that Nashville is going to host Super Bowl 64 in 2030 at what will then be the new Nissan Stadium. Press conference earlier this morning at Nissan Stadium. Welcome back to the show. Lucas and Robert with you. Buck is currently at the stadium doing media avail right now. And Deanna Ivey of the Nashville Convention Center has been answering questions. I'm seeing this from Terry McCormick. Deanna Ivey saying that a couple of NFL owners said to her yesterday that the league would like Nashville in that Super Bowl rotation, but that her focus is on this first one right now. So I don't know that we can sit here and assume that Nashville automatically slots in with the likes of Vegas and Atlanta and these other cities that are on the Super Bowl rotation until we see Nashville crush it. And make no mistake, Nashville's going to crush the Super Bowl as a host city. I have no doubts about that in my mind. I did hear some concerns earlier this morning. A caller by the name of Princess called in with Rhett and Ramon Foster with concerns about some of the logistics of it. Traffic, some of the issues that locals will run into, not just for that weekend, right? Because it's so much more than just that weekend, but really the entire week leading up to it. I'd say, Robert, what would be the total amount of time do you think that Nashville will be affected in terms of people flocking to this city because of the Super Bowl? Like a 2-week stretch? About maybe a week and a half?
Yeah, that's probably where I'd be at with
after conference championship.
Because that barren week before the Super Bowl, and who knows if when they eventually add the extra game to the season, if the Super Bowl isn't pushed to the other week and there isn't another week, who knows if that barren week will still be there. But yeah, I would imagine probably about a week and a half when people would start to gather here, start to get here. Definitely the week of, like Monday traffic, the week of the Super Bowl. Just be ready that week to go ahead and either leave 30 minutes before you would normally leave or, just don't go to work.
Yeah, work from home if you can. No doubt. I mean, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that the Super Bowl itself at Nissan Stadium is going to look aesthetically gorgeous with Nissan Stadium on the East Bank, the Nashville skyline overlooking everything, the ability to walk from downtown to the stadium and back and forth, whether you're a fan or a media member or any part of basically the circus that descends down upon a Super Bowl host city, compared to the likes of San Francisco / Santa Clara, where you heard horror stories, right, from our friends that were there, 3HL, of course, broadcasting live at the Super Bowl Radio Row every single year. And the back and forth, the distance alone between where Radio Row is and where a lot of the Super Bowl festivities are happening and the actual game itself, as opposed to here where you can walk from the Music City Center, where I fully assume most of the pre-Super Bowl activities and media and press conference stuff will happen. You could literally walk from the Music City Center to the stadium, and it just sets up all too perfectly. It feels like Nashville has the proximity of like an Indianapolis, while being a far more interesting and fun city to visit than Indianapolis.
100%.
Right.
Jordan Sims put in the chat, do not plan your bachelorette party during the Super Bowl in Nashville. inevitably, there will be another situation like the draft where, you know, the infamous video of the women like, I didn't even know this was going on. Who cares about this? We can't even have fun. There will be women here for their bachelorette parties, and it will get derailed.
But for them, I will have zero sympathy, right? Like, the draft was a different thing. Now, it was very funny. We all got a chance to sit back and point and laugh at that viral video. I can't remember the TV station that interviewed those ladies. But I do feel some level of sympathy for those ladies because the draft in Nashville was kind of the first of its kind, right? We've never seen 500,000 people packing out the streets of a city downtown for the NFL draft. That kind of set some sort of precedent for the NFL to start taking the draft on the road to Kansas City and Pittsburgh and Detroit and turn it into basically a giant football festival. So you should always check ahead of time when you're heading to a city like Nashville, what's going on that could interrupt whatever your plans might be. But I imagine they could even look and see, they're hosting the draft. Okay, they're probably doing it like some banquet hall or something. I don't know. But the Super Bowl, yeah, there's no sympathy if you don't know that the Super Bowl is happening on the weekend that you're having your bachelorette party. But the question that I have is, what's next? What's next for Nashville, for you as a fan? Super Bowl, you can check it off the list. What's the next American sporting event that you would love to see come to Music City? Maybe you don't want to see these events continue to come to Music City. Would love to hear those perspectives as well. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Let's go to Alan in Nashville up first. Hey, Alan.
Hey, Lucas. Thanks for taking my call. I would love to see Major League Baseball here, but as far as a big event, and this sounds crazy, but hear me out. I think that we could host a Winter Olympic and have the downhill events in the Smoky Mountains, but have all of the indoor events in Nashville. And I think that would be this would be a great venue for the Olympics, I think. I think that'd be the next thing.
Thanks for the call, Alan. So, to Major League Baseball, there are a lot of people in Nashville that want that to happen. We on this show have been, I would say skeptical at best that is something that is impending the way a lot of people seem to believe it is until, those billions of dollars just appear. I'm not confident that MLB to Nashville is something that's going to happen within the next 2 years. But, yeah, certainly, if that's something that takes place, then you're talking about hosting Major League Baseball games. You're talking about being a candidate to host the MLB All-Star Game, an All-Star Weekend, which is an event in and of itself. To the Winter Olympics, Alan, that's not something that I could see happening. In Gatlinburg, we're talking about Ober Gatlinburg, if any of you guys have been there. It's a good time, right? But it's manufactured snow, small slopes. That's not happening here in Nashville. We're not getting a Winter Olympics in Music City. Now, I do add Nashville will be a part of the 2028 Summer Olympics hosting festivities over at Geodis Park, hosting some men's and women's soccer games in the 2028 Summer Olympics, where Los Angeles is technically the host site. And so that will be the second time the state of Tennessee has ever hosted any sort of Olympic event. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, maybe whitewater rafting was hosted on the Ocoee River. I might be a little bit off base on that at some point. But Summer Olympic stuff will be coming to Geodis Park in 2028. Certainly, I'm very excited for that. Winter Olympics, be pretty surprised. So, we'll continue to take your calls, 615-737-1045. We are, of course, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Robert, I have wrote out a list here, kind of in order of most significant to least significant in the grand scheme of American sports culture in terms of what could be next for Nissan Stadium, assuming Nashville knocks the Super Bowl out of the park. If Nashville can effectively host the Super Bowl in 2030, Nashville can be a national championship host city, right? Nashville can be a Final Four host city. Nashville can host the SEC championship if the SEC championship is still around whenever that time would come. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know the complete details of that contract that the SEC has with Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And there's a lot of talk, as we've discussed, about the SEC championship game not even happening anymore, as the college football playoff continues to expand and all of these things. But I feel like a national championship in Nashville could just be a home run, man, for the college football culture that is here, compared to a SoFi Stadium, a soulless location where fans aren't allowed to tailgate. I feel like a national title game in Nashville would just be awesome. 615-737-1045. Chuck in Nashville is next. What's up, Chuck?
Hey, Lucas. I'd love to see the men's Final Four basketball tournament. I think 60,000 seat, the way it's formatted, would make a great venue for the Final Four. The host city would be tremendous for that. So I'd like to see men's college basketball Final Four and then women's.
Thanks for the call, Chuck. I think Nashville would crush a Final Four. Yeah, men's or women's. So that's the question is, what's the next step for Nashville? I don't know that there is an obvious event to turn to after you host a Super Bowl and you're hosting the Super Bowl halftime show and the lead up to the Super Bowl. It doesn't get bigger than that in American sports. Now, the only area where it does get bigger than that would be to be a World Cup host city, which obviously Nashville took a swing at. And I think we can look back and say in hindsight, unfortunately for Nashville, FIFA, as incredibly flawed and corrupt as they are, probably made the right call in not feeling confident enough that the new Nissan Stadium would be completed by the time the 2026 FIFA World Cup came around. That would be a tough thing to pull off this summer, as construction is still very much on target, but a year away from being completed, and all the logistical issues that would come with hosting World Cup games. It breaks my heart, but unfortunately, Nashville, just the timing of that didn't quite work out. Would love to see the Music City Grand Prix come back. I saw V-Love tweeting at us about that as well. I don't know what that situation is, where the contract currently stands for the Grand Prix over at Nashville Superspeedway, and if there are plans long-term to bring it back to downtown around the new Nissan Stadium, logistically, how that would work with, the location of the stadium compared to the current Nissan Stadium. But I think we'd all love to see the Grand Prix come back to the streets of downtown Nashville. Robert, we talked yesterday about SummerSlam having already taken place here. What is the next WWE event you would like to see in Nashville? Like, what would be the next step up? I know we talked about WrestleMania, sort of the pinnacle. Would there be another step up from SummerSlam?
Yeah, the Rumble. Royal Rumble would be a big deal. WrestleMania is the peak of the mountain as far as wrestling events are concerned, which I'm sure they would have their pick of it. I believe next year is already planned on being in Saudi Arabia or somewhere over there, wherever they do their overseas shows. But and that's the first WrestleMania overseas that has not been in America. So I would imagine that they would come back, but they've been really prone to go to cities like Vegas, going to California, so it would make sense that they would like Nashville. But if it was just a tier below, if you could get the Royal Rumble, I feel like there's just as much hype for that as there is SummerSlam, Survivor Series, anything like that. But if I got to pick what event they would host, if they're not in the rotation for the Super Bowl and that stadium is not being used, they should host Puppy Bowl.
Does Puppy Bowl happen in
Puppy Bowl happens,
in NFL
dude.
stadiums?
Puppy Bowl happens. They need to host Puppy Bowl. No, it doesn't. I think it's shot at a TV studio.
I was going to say,
I don't think it's a real event. But how cool would it be if it was going to be anywhere? It should be here, and it should be live in the new Nissan Stadium.
That's the only thing I can think of that would be a notch above the Super Bowl.
I would agree.
Would be Nissan hosting the Puppy Bowl. 615-737-1045. Bam is up next in Nashville. What's up, Bam?
Yo, what's good, fam?
What's up? What you got?
You just said WrestleMania would definitely be the next thing. If WrestleMania is not, I'd either say Royal Rumble or Survivor Series would probably be the next ones. But, yeah, I just feel like everything in Nashville, you're going to get all the major concerts there. You're going to get all the major – Nashville's turning into, like, either New Orleans, Nashville's turning into Las Vegas. Even with the music scene, that week of the Super Bowl is just going to be absolutely uncanny. Like, especially for us working musicians, like, we might as well just get a room down there because we're going to be performing with everything that's going on. It's already bids and stuff going on. Like, they're putting the city together for everything now. So it's exciting but it's also kind of like navigating through. I'm trying to get Bert to perform with my band the week of the Super Bowl too. Have him lead a couple songs. Have him do Return of the Mac and stuff like that.
Hey, when the Super Bowl comes around, if you want me to do Return of the Mac, I will do that for you, Bam. I will do that for you.
I'm telling you now. I want you to do it. Like, what else do we need to like? I want you to do that.
Don't call me, I'll call you. Have your people call my people or whatever people in the know say.
And we'll do Love Me Sexy by Will Ferrell.
Oh, don't get We can do that, Bam. We can do that, Bam.
Appreciate it, Bam. Yeah, and by the way, Bam he'll take you up on that. I don't remember if you were working here yet when
was it when Mickey went over there with him?
Mickey went over to Bourbon Street Blues and Boogie Bar in Printer's Alley and got up there and was slapping the bass with Bam's band, and it was awesome. It was electric.
I can never remember the correct order of B's for that place. I always just say Blues, Boogie, Bourbon, and,
Blues bar. Yeah, Blues, Bourbon, Boogie Bar.
It's
Boogie,
one of my
Blues,
favorite places to be if you have to be downtown and around there. It's one of the better little dives to knock into. I think you're the one that turned me on to that.
Oh, yeah. Musically, love that place. Bam's band always lights it up when they're in there. So
you just are over the Bruno Mars. No more Bruno Mars for Lucas.
I'm over.
Nah, go ahead and put it out there.
Yeah. No, I'm done with the 24 karat covers at these things like that. I love going to that place or anywhere that has live music like that, where it's not just another like Carrie Underwood, Tim McGraw cover, and they're playing, bluesy stuff. Maybe they're playing some Prince and some Clapton. But the second I hear the would you move, I'm out. I'm gone. I'm walking out of there.
Yeah, agreed.
I can't do it.
I enjoy it, but I'm usually enjoying whatever's happening at that point.
Well, maybe, and if Buck did the polls, maybe we would, in that world, would have him put out a poll asking if you're a local, will you be more likely to try and be a part of the Super Bowl festivities or stay the hell away? I'm genuinely curious where the majority of folks that live in the Nashville area fall on that. Because, again, the draft felt different. The draft felt like something new and unprecedented, and I don't know. It just felt like something that you wouldn't even have fathomed when it was happening at Radio City Hall even 10 years ago. Man, you would have never thought the draft to be something that 600,000 people would pack the streets out in downtown Nashville to attend. And make no mistake, the Super Bowl is a much more highly anticipated event than the NFL draft, across the country and globally. But I am really curious where most Nashville locals would fall on that.
I do have a request for that week, and maybe just an idea. What if the Country Music Hall of Fame that's over there, or the museum that's over there, what if the week of the Super Bowl, maybe the month of the Super Bowl, it turns into a review of Super Bowl halftime shows? Because when you go over there, it's like the costumes that they wore, the onset, all the different things. What if they made the museum that week or that month about halftime Super Bowl shows? I think that would be cool. Or just turn it into a Super Bowl museum. Either way, just another spectacle, something to do, something to cover while it's here.
I love it. 615-737-1045. All right, SEC coaches are speaking anonymously about other SEC teams. Athlon Sports does this each and every year. We'll tell you what they had to say about Tennessee and Vandy coming up next. So every year, Athlon Sports puts out anonymous coaches' quotes from the SEC. Now, they don't disclose any details, whether they're talking to head coaches, assistant coaches, simply anonymous quotes from coaching staffs across the Southeastern Conference. And every year there's something interesting to come out of this, to kind of get a glimpse into what staffers at other SEC programs think of their compatriots, I suppose, in the Southeastern Conference. Tennessee and Vanderbilt, Robert, who do you think coaches had more praise for between Tennessee and Vandy in terms of what they're going to look like in 2026?
Sorry, I was on the phone. One more time.
Who do you think these anonymous quotes from SEC coaches that Athlon Sports puts out every offseason, who do you think they had more praise for, Tennessee or Vanderbilt?
Vanderbilt overachieved. Let's go Vanderbilt.
You're right. Oh, with a slight edge goes to Vanderbilt. Here's what they had to say about Vanderbilt. Quote, do I think they'll be as good without Diego? No, absolutely not. Do I think they'll be competitive and in there somewhere in the middle? Yes. Another quote, that time with Diego will help them recruit at a higher level, and they'll have more sustained success than they've had, but they won't be at the same level in the next year or two without Diego. I think the injection of belief and swag that Pavia brought to the program can carry over. They fed off it. Then it became more than just him. And finally, offensive coordinator Tim Beck does such a great job of being so fundamentally sound in what they do. There's repetitiveness of technique in play calling, but there's multiplicity in the pre-snap looks and the pre-snap motions that makes it a complete pain. So, not glowing remarks that Vanderbilt football will be able to continue to sustain 10-win seasons every year without Diego Pavia. There's obviously a regression expected with Pavia out the door, the spark plug that he was for that program under Clark Lee. But I think there is an element of respect being shown to Lee and his coaching staff in the place they're going to have Vanderbilt in terms of the floor being at a certain level in 2026 and beyond, past the Diego Pavia era. So I would call this praise for Vanderbilt, saying, no, are they going to be as good or better without Diego? Probably not, but will they be competitive and somewhere in the middle? Yes, and that's a fine starting place to be if you're Vanderbilt, to me at least, in the post-Diego Pavia era. Understanding Jared Curtis is coming in with all the hype and the talent that comes with being a highly recruited quarterback, a five-star freshman, but he is still going to be a true freshman starting, assumedly, at quarterback in the SEC. So that's what they had to say about Vanderbilt. Now to Tennessee, a little bit less glowing, I suppose, for the Vols. Again, anonymous quotes from SEC head coaches as shared by athlonsports.com. Quote, having the Aguilar deal not go their way is a good thing for the SEC. They are unproven at quarterback. Another quote, it's a pivotal year for them to succeed. I don't think they'll be better. A third one, without a veteran quarterback in that system, you don't feel the same energy and excitement around that program. Every time we face them or versions of them, it all runs through their quarterback and how confident he is at stretching the field and how mobile he is. And finally, they want to run the ball, but do they have enough of a threat downfield to open up the run lanes? The last time they were extremely potent was when former offensive coordinator Alex Golesh was there. Of course, Golesh now the head coach of the Auburn Tigers. So I would have a slight disagreement with that last quote, that the last time they were potent on offense was when Golesh was there. Golesh was there back in 2022, that season with Hendon Hooker and beating Alabama and on the cusp of the 4-team college football playoff. Tennessee was top 10 in total offense last year. Joey Aguilar led the SEC in passing in the regular season. They just weren't a complimentary enough football team, right? The defense took a massive drop off from 2024, and they weren't able to overcome that. They turned the ball over, certainly, with a little more regularity than we had been accustomed to in the Heupel era from the quarterback position. But Tennessee got back to being that potent level of offense that we sort of grew accustomed to in the early Heupel years. But overall, I understand the premise of where these anonymous coaches are coming from. It's hard to sit here and have the expectation that Tennessee is going to be a better team in 2026 than they were in 2025 based on the questions around this team. Now, you can, as a fan, have expectations, but for somebody from the outside looking in or a coach on an opposite SEC sidelines, you are going to give expectations based on what you know or don't know about that team, about that program going into 26, right? And it's true. We don't know who their quarterback is going to be. They are unproven at quarterback. They are the definition of unproven at quarterback. Last season, 8-4 with a bowl game loss in the Music City Bowl to Illinois. Can Tennessee be better than that? And is it good enough to be as good or better than they were in 2025? I don't really know where a lot of Vol fans land on that, because I think the majority of Tennessee fans would say, no, that's not good enough. But there's so many variables at play here for this team that is young in key areas like quarterback. We know that however this shakes out, a first-time starter will be pulling the strings at quarterback between George McIntyre and Faison Brandon. We had Trey Wallace in here last week saying it sounds like things are trending towards Faison Brandon. You can listen to that whole conversation on the 104.5 The Zone YouTube page. So I don't know what that looks like, and I know that Tennessee has a far more difficult schedule in 2026 than they had in 2025, hosting the likes of Auburn. You have to play Texas this season. You have to play Lane Kiffin's LSU this season. So there's so many more obstacles on the 2026 schedule than there were on the 2025 schedule, with more questions. I don't want to say more questions going in at quarterback, because obviously there were questions going into last year. We didn't know how Joey Aguilar was going to adjust, how he was going to adapt after being thrown into the fold. We had seen sample sizes of Aguilar. They knew he was a gunslinger, that he had played college football, that he hadn't played at the Power 5 level, but had played against Power 5 teams. Certainly there was much more of a sample size of Aguilar playing quarterback at the FBS level than there have been of McIntyre or Brandon, but it feels like the talent ceiling for those two players can be considered higher than the talent ceiling for Joey Aguilar straight up as a prospect. But it's so fascinating because on one hand, you have the questions around the quarterback position. On the other hand, you have very fair expectations that the defense is going to take a huge leap forward with the amount of players Tennessee brought in to play in the secondary. A lot of that hinges, of course, on Chaz Coleman being on the practice field and ready to play for Tennessee, the edge rusher from Penn State that's had kind of a weird offseason with personal issues, off-field stuff. But there is a very fair expectation that the defense will take a huge jump forward. There's a fair expectation that the schedule is going to be so much harder for Tennessee in 2026 than it was in 2025. Is there a fair expectation that the offense will be that much better? I don't know. That's the hard part for me.
Yeah, and this is kind of where I feel like maybe I'm taking crazy pills. Like, so many people have had negative thoughts about what Tennessee is going to be this year. But if you had to compare the outlook, how positive you were about the outlook of Vol football compared last year to this year, I would be much more comfortable betting on the success of the future of the Vols, knowing that you're going to have to start a young guy. Whoever you start, hypothetically, will be your quarterback next year. They have not been able to say that last year with Joey Aguilar.
No, they haven't been able to say that, quite honestly, at any point. Josh Heupel's never had a quarterback start week one of a season and play the whole year, and then start week one of the following season and play that whole year. Hendon Hooker came in for Joe Milton early in 21 and had the reins in 22. So, yes, they had back-to-back years of Hooker as the starter in that sense. But yeah, it would be a pretty unprecedented thing to have one of Brandon and McIntyre go the whole way in 26 and then do it again in 27.
Yeah, and maybe this is a conversation we can revisit tomorrow. We got to get out here. But, I don't understand disparaging Tennessee for having and I'm using air quotes, a down quarterback year where you can't count on a veteran. A lot of people are citing, they don't have a veteran quarterback. They don't have a veteran quarterback. Joey Aguilar played at App State. It's not like he was a world beater. He wasn't playing against Power 4 competition. He was going to play at UCLA, which sure is in a Power 4 league, but I don't understand how there would be that big of a perception difference for a quarterback who played at App State and a quarterback who is a 5-star freshman. I would be more willing to bet on the future of having a 5-star freshman. Maybe this is something we can talk about tomorrow. I would also be interested to revisit the anonymous sources about other teams tomorrow where we can get into it. I love when they get messy on stuff like that.
Agreed. And there's some more interesting stuff in there. We can definitely talk about that tomorrow. We can try and gauge expectations a little more for both Tennessee and Vanderbilt tomorrow, because I think those are both interesting conversations in their own right. What do we have to give away for the dumbest thing in sports?
Chris Stapleton tickets.
Oh.
Yes, you better bring it today.
Okay, 615-737-1045. The best submission for the dumbest thing in sports this week is headed to Chris Stapleton. That's the Nissan show, right?
I believe so, yes.
Lainey Wilson opening up. Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Wilson. Hey, y'all, I'm Lainey Wilson.
Hey,
I
now.
actually talk like this.
She just got married.
Yes, to Duck Hodges,
congrats.
a Steeler.
Congrats to
Tell
the happy
everybody
couple.
here in town's going to cancel her because she's marrying a Steeler. She ain't marrying a Titan.
615-737-1045. The dumbest thing in sports this week for your chance to win Chris Stapleton tickets next.
If your energy's off, if things aren't working like they used to, you're not alone. If you have not been yet or not considered yet going to the Tennessee Men's Clinic powered by Men's Pro, you should. What you'll like about them is that they've been doing this for years. They're not just the newest fly-by-night place or sketchy online pill. You're working with true medical providers. They'll run labs and build a plan specifically around you, not some one-size-fits-all deal. They treat low performance, ED, weight loss, and even peptides like NAD+. Their treatments have worked for thousands of men, and most guys say they wish they would have come in sooner. Right now, your lab panel and consultation, just $99. So call them today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or visit them online and book easily in under 30 seconds at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
11:03, good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzika. The city of Nashville hosted a presser this morning to officially announce Nashville as the host of Super Bowl 64 in 2030 at the new Nissan Stadium. Jim Nantz emceeing, Governor Bill Lee, Mayor Freddie O'Connell, Titans President Burke Nihill, and others speaking. Last night in the NBA playoffs, the New York Knicks trailed by 22 with less than 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, but charged back behind a 38-point performance from Jalen Brunson to beat the Cavs in overtime, 115-104 at Madison Square Garden, taking Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals in the biggest playoff comeback in Knicks history. SEC baseball tournament got underway Tuesday in Hoover. Both Tennessee and Vandy moving on to the next round. Vanderbilt with an 8-5 win over Kentucky. Tennessee with an 11-6 win over South Carolina. It continues this afternoon as Vandy faces Florida. 1 p.m. is the scheduled first pitch. Tennessee is scheduled to take on Arkansas at 4:30. Tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Western Conference Finals get underway. Game 1 between the Golden Knights and Avalanche in Denver. Puck drop is at 7. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
It most certainly is. 615-737-1045, the number. You call in. You tell us what the dumbest thing in sports this week is. A lot of submissions. What's the prize? Do we have a good prize?
You'll never know.
I feel like they need to know.
They know.
They already know.
Yeah, they know. Don't worry.
I suppose I don't need to know.
They were here. They know.
Oh, buddy. Don't worry. We can talk about why I wasn't here.
Oh, wait. I meant to ask you this. Was, dadgummit, what's his name? Lucas, we were, Jim Nantz? Was Jim Nantz there? I needed you to figure out, is he
How long has Jim Nantz lived here? Can somebody please tell
4
me?
years. He's been here for 4 years.
Okay.
Well, he's been a Nashville resident for 4 years. I wanted you to verify that, though.
Yeah.
Can you verify that Jim Nantz was there and that he was and is a Nashville resident?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes, I can indeed. How did more people tweet about Jim Nantz or Eric Church?
I didn't see anything about Eric Church.
Oh, really?
Well, he's a North Carolina native, so if he was up there talking, I'm sure people would bash him.
He wasn't. He was sitting front row at this thing, and he was alluded to several times. I saw Jimmy took a picture of his head, the top of his head, the back of his head, and drew an arrow on his picture. He's like, here's Eric Church. It's like, okay, why is Eric Church here? I guess he's on the committee. I don't know. Whatever. The dumbest thing in sports this week is that press conference I just went to, because that was just the most corporate glaze. Yes, thank you to all the suits and all the executive. Let's be clear. Like, there's a lot of people in various roles across the city, in the NFL and the government and all these different things who did make this happen. The fact that we're getting the Super Bowl. The whole reason why, half of the state legislators sitting at a press conference this morning. And that's fine. And that's good. And it's exciting for Nashville. But the only one who remembered to thank the people of Tennessee and the city of Nashville for being the city of Nashville and all the great things that everybody wants to be a part of, and a party too, because we throw a great party around here. Only person who really did it well or sufficiently, I felt, was Burke Nihill. The rest of them, man, come on. Like, it's just, thank you to this, thank you to that, thank you to the speaker. It was just so bleh. The entire thing. That may be the grossest press conference I've ever been a part of, even though it's for a good thing, and we're all excited about the Super Bowl, and it takes nothing away from the Super Bowl. I'm happy that press conference is over.
I just don't know what you expected.
I don't know.
There's politicians and executives up there to celebrate.
I've never wanted to talk to a coach so badly in my life than that press conference.
I don't know.
And Jim Nantz. Jim Nantz, wonderful man.
He was there?
Yes, he was there.
Oh,
and
I
Eric Church. I didn't know if you know.
I didn't know.
Okay.
I was unaware.
Now you do.
I don't know. I feel like that would be like, what's a famously horrible movie? Remember that?
Waterworld. Isn't that one that comes up a lot?
Master of Disguise.
No, that's a good movie.
I watched it recently. It's pretty bad.
Dude, that movie, I never got into that movie.
Master of Disguise?
Yeah, as a kid.
Like the
Turtle
Club.
for the Turtle Club.
I never got into that movie.
Little weenie and some tiny nuts. Okay.
What year did that come out?
Like 2001, if I had to guess.
So we would have been in I would have been in I don't know, third grade, 2001.
Oh, yeah, it was hilarious when I was in third grade.
Yeah, okay. So I haven't seen it since third grade.
All respect to Dana Carvey, a comedy legend.
2002. Oh, yeah, the one of the world's best impressionists.
Yes.
Speaking of which, unrelated, you guys need to watch the Martin Short thing on Netflix.
I watched it with Cheyenne last night. So good.
Banger. I did too.
So
I just
good.
know there's going to be so much sad.
No.
The only thing sad is realizing that maybe you thought you were creative, eclectic, funny, and then you realize there are people that are born with this innate ability to just be the funniest person on the planet at any given time.
And don't need to be tortured or miserable or anything like that. Like, you know how some
But he's had
comedians...
a lot of tragedy in his life.
That's not what it's centered around,
Not
though.
really.
No,
Okay.
it's really centered around just him as a
I don't want to
person.
dismiss the tragedy of his wife. You watch it and you'll enjoy it.
His daughter, like it's been a lot. I just assumed that a lot of it was focused
I
on
think
that.
it's more positive that those things did not affect him. Like when you see so many tortured comedians like the Robin Williams of the world and his HBO special where like after his specials, he was exasperated on the floor, sweating in a heap of himself. And Martin is just himself. That is just the energy that he can. It was, if you were into that sort of thing, it was exceptional.
You sold me. There was a heartbreaking situation with his daughter who dealt with mental illness.
Yep.
I didn't know. I thought it would be kind of one of those. I was like, I don't want to be sad.
No,
So,
you
I'll
will
go
enjoy it.
watch it.
Long story short, my dumbest thing in sports, corporate glaze at that press conference.
So here's a horror. So Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly did that Sherlock Holmes movie.
Never saw it.
It was famously horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
It was really, really bad.
That's
I
a
never
shame.
saw it, but people said they were like people were walking out of theaters.
Ooh, what's the last movie you guys have walked out of?
I've never. If I paid money, I'm staying.
Me too. I've never done it. And
man, I
can't
definitely-
see myself ever doing it.
You know what? It was the first of these Jurassic World things when the T-Rex and the Raptors team up to fight the genetically manufactured dinosaur.
With
I'm like,
Chris Pratt.
yes,
Yeah.
the first one. I was like, all right,
I saw the first one.
I'm
in
all
theaters.
set on this.
I like dinosaurs too much to leave.
Holmes and Watson was the name of this movie. It got 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was just apparently atrocious. That roundabout way of saying you coming back complaining about that presser would be like fully knowing the situation and still paying to go see Holmes and Watson and walking out going, man, that sucked.
I didn't pay, thank God.
I just don't know what you expected, I guess.
Is Jim Nance in that movie?
Eric Church?
Ralph Fiennes is. It's pretty good cast.
You are correct. Self-awareness is key. I did not go into that with self-awareness, and then I was immediately greeted with, oh, my God, this is gross.
Rashee Rice is the dumbest thing in sports this week.
Oh, yes.
Because the Chiefs receiver has been sentenced to serve 30 days in jail, not for the crash, the hit and run that left multiple people injured on a Dallas highway a couple years ago that left him suspended for a handful of games from last season. No. He didn't get any jail time for that. This is for testing positive for marijuana in violation of the terms of his probation for his role in that hit and run crash. He has been ordered to go to jail immediately as part of his 30-day sentence for the third-degree felony of racing and causing bodily injury, which he avoided jail time for initially, got put on probation, and just couldn't not smoke weed. He tested positive for THC, and he is, he's been booked. Like, he's in jail. He will be released on June 16th. The Chiefs have voluntary practices that he will obviously miss, mandatory mini camp, which he will miss, and he'll be back in time for training camp or whatever. But the dude is literally going to sit in prison for a month because he just couldn't not smoke weed. Rashee Rice is the dumbest thing in sports this week.
Is he just going to end up being Josh Gordon if Josh Gordon was actually a bad person? Because Rashee Rice appears to be. I feel like I can safely say.
I was going to go to training camp, but then I got high. Ooh, I was going to catch 1,000 yards, but then I got high.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yep. What the heck?
You jumped the gun a little bit.
I'm
That's okay.
sorry.
No, it's okay. No, it was fine. It was fine, baby. You did a great job. I ain't mad about it.
Well, I said in Robert's ear as you were mentioning this that if we were good at this, we would have had the stay off the weed drop from Stephen A. Smith famously.
Duh. That's the best part.
Like Ross. Duh.
Duh.
Yeah, Rashid Rice, dumbest thing in sports.
That's a pretty good one.
My dumbest thing in the sports is
the sports?
Yeah, we were all wondering where Pablo was. Pablo, why aren't you investigating Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini? Pablo, where's the report? Pablo. It's because he was exposing Fraud the Mentalist. If you're familiar with Oz, the Wizard of Oz, what was the big thing about him? He was thought to be this big, high and mighty wizard that heralded from the Emerald City, and he did all these miraculous things, and he gave people hearts and brains and conscience and mind. But in reality, he was just a man behind a curtain, and that's what Pablo found out. Oz the Mentalist is a fraud.
Eshad?
No, because I always knew he was a fraud. Magic isn't real. Ghosts aren't real. None of that is real. Stop bringing fictitious things into the world and saying, oh, look at how I can read your mind through these simple diagnostic tests. Yes, what's your favorite color? Oh, your PIN code is 9136. Okay, we don't get it. I don't get it.
I hope you just didn't give your PIN code on the air.
I did not.
Illusion is real.
So basically the whole deal is he would spend an inordinate amount of time with the people that he is going to be performing these tricks with before the show started, putting them through the paces. Hey, go to this website and type these things on. And he would get metadata that they would put together and gather information from them asking questions. So in the moment, he has already talked to these people. And so all of these tricks look like, oh, wow, he's doing this off the cuff. When in reality, he had been spending time with these people before, getting information off of a erroneous Google website that he had them participating on. So Oz the Mentalist, you are a fraud. And my dumbest thing in sports.
Man.
I mean,
now illusion is real, and some people are extremely talented.
Yeah, sleight of hand. Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Would you disagree that this is a person who has put his talents into, a level of trickeration that still deserves some praise because it does take effort to do what he's doing?
Yeah, stop doing it through phones and whatnot. If you listen to the report Pablo did, one of the women on The View.
I haven't heard it yet.
So one of the women on The View that were, he did the PIN code trick that he did on Joe Rogan. And he was meeting with her before, and he said, none of this is going to matter in the show. This is just for me to get an idea about you. And when he shared her actual PIN code on the show, the shock she showed, people thought was, oh, wow, how did he do this? The shock she actually showed was, you said none of this would be included in the show.
Oh.
So she was wondering why he actually shared her real PIN code on the air.
That's not what you want.
So anyway, Oz the Mentalist.
Not good.
It's pronounced O's. Okay, well then spell it O's.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Spell it O's. Why are you going to have your name be? Someone in the chat said it's pronounced O's.
Is it actually?
No.
Well, that's the way Pablo pronounced it. He said O's the Mentalist.
Shut up.
You can't name yourself after a famous wizard. It's like being like, oh, my name's Dumbledore, but it's pronounced Dumbledore. Like, no, you stop spelling it exactly like Oz. Then, goober, don't be mad at me for mispronouncing it.
I don't have to respect Oz the Mentalist.
The only thing you owe us is an apology, buddy, for being a big faker and a phony.
Like naming your dog Merlin, but it's Merline.
No, it's Santa Fe. You're like, come on, who would do something like that?
You just attacked the entire state.
Yeah.
Secret of the Ooze. Yes, great Power Rangers movie. Or wait, was that Power Rangers? Secret of the Ooze. Y'all wasn't big Rangers. Mighty Morphin Time.
I remember Power Rangers vaguely.
Oh, I was so into Power
Rangers. I
Rangers.
wanted to eat that ooze. Oh, it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Because the dude comes out of that purple-looking gooey stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, if I was 5 when that came out, I would have totally been eating Tide Pods.
If Gronk has to be the one to tell you, no, don't eat the Tide Pods, that may be my favorite TV commercial campaign of all time. No, don't eat them. Do your laundry with them. It's just Gronkowski.
Have you guys seen the gummy Tide Pods now?
No. What's wrong with people? Let's go to the phone. 615.
I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
737-1045. Which one were you?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, they're all Italian, so.
Yeah, they're all.
Michelangelo?
Leonardo.
You would have been Splinter.
The Rat?
Yeah. He's the coolest one.
He's the leader, yeah.
Philip is in Hendersonville. What's the dumbest thing in sports this week? Remember to stay on hold for the opportunity to win what, Robert?
I'll tell them, but not you. It's Chris Stapleton. No, you're not supposed to hear that.
Go ahead, Philip.
All right, so mine is definitely the Cleveland Cavaliers coach. Lucas, I know you have no idea what I'm talking about. You missed this part. But he put James Harden ISO defense on Jalen Brunson, man-to-man, at the start of that 22-point comeback. I mean, it was like fear of the beard had nothing to do with his defensive prowess in his career. But that's my dumbest thing in sports.
It's a great one, Philip. Lucas, equally dumb because he informed me as I walked in here today that he went to bed before the 22-point comeback by the New York Knicks. Now, I will tell, and I told him this, I also thought about going to bed, but I kept it on in the background. I turned the sound off when they were down like, I don't know, they were down like 80 to 50 something at some point late at the start of the fourth. So I'm like, all right, whatever. We'll see what happens and just keep it on in the background. And then when they got within 6, the Knicks, I was like, okay, I'll turn the sound back on and see if they can do it. Then overtime and another just ridiculous NBA game. But
I was so mad. Like, no,
were you really? Because that's annoying. to be like, all right, nobody's going to care about this game tomorrow anyway. To wake up and be like, what?
No, it's one of the biggest pet peeves I have is that FOMO of knowing that it's nobody's fault but my own. It was awful.
So the Cavs coach putting James Harden ISO on Jalen Brunson. Not smart. Let's go with Wesley.
Yes, mine will be the great civil rights leader, Martin Luther Kiffin, for saying that, hey, the reason why he left Ole Miss was because of racism and the racist past. But then goes to Louisiana, who just 2 weeks ago took a case to the Supreme Court gutting the Second Amendment, the second part of the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that. Martin Luther Kiffin.
That's pretty funny. Pretty funny.
That's really good. Well done, Wesley. Matt is in Virginia.
Yeah, my dumbest thing in sports is Lucas going to sleep. No, I'm just playing.
It's fair.
No, it's not fair. I feel like a lot of people went to bed. Like I know that one feels bad the next day, but damn, that sucks.
No, my dumbest thing in sports is former Memphis two-guard, current Suns two-guard Dylan Brooks calling Jared Vanderbilt of the Lakers the dumbest player in the NBA. I don't have any know all about Jared Vanderbilt, but I know Dylan Brooks, Mr. 5 from 25 from the field, should not be the person to make that statement.
I think that's completely fair. I kind of love Dylan Brooks.
He's like the new Pat Bev. Like, if he's on your team, you probably like him being an annoying gnat, but if he's not on your team, you probably hate playing.
I don't even know if you like Dylan Brooks if he's on your team.
Potentially.
Potentially. I think there are moments where you are conflicted by the idea of Dylan Brooks just being just a nuisance.
But I wouldn't say
every turn.
The player Pat Bev was. I don't think he's reached those heights defensively.
No, just in the form of being a gnat.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Bob in Dixon.
Deion Sanders said he plans to talk to Browns coach Todd Monken on how to best coach his son Shador.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for the call, Bob.
Did you see this? Have you guys seen this story on The Athletic?
Is it a recent one or is it one from the weekend?
It is recent. Deion Sanders upset that Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen and last year's head coach of the Browns did not reach out to him on how to coach those kids, even though he had been coaching and got the most out of them. He said that the Jaguars and Browns still had not reached out, but he planned on talking to Todd Monken about how to coach his son.
Okay. I can't love Deion for being Deion and then also dislike Deion for being Deion, because it's all... You get everything, right, with the Deion Sanders experience, because there are times when it's enjoyable and there are times when it's just like, bleh.
Although I maybe it's unpopular, I feel like it is worth the conversation. Like if you're Liam Cohen or Kevin Stefanski or whoever.
I think it's a unique situation, Lucas, because I don't necessarily disagree with you. Like in principle, if you're I'm blanking on the name of the Titans wide receivers coach right now, Greg Lewis. if you're Greg Lewis, do you call Ryan Day or somebody at Ohio State and be like, okay, what's Carnell like?
I feel like it's worth a conversation. It's just more information.
But here's the differentiation. Deion is a parent of one of the players that you're talking about. So if you coalesce to the idea of parents, and I know that he's different, and that he's a former NFL player, former college football player, now a coach, I think if you start to open the door to helicopter parents in the way that Deion is, it's probably, and again, there's only one Deion.
No, you're right. With Shador,
like that in my head is, I'd be like, okay, I don't necessarily think I need to.
I agree.
Involve this further element that already exists in my life.
And Travis, like Deion has basically referred to Travis as another son of his. But
basically, I think he said that.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to have one that's successful.
I do feel like
can't have a bunch of sons and ain't none of them good. He's my de facto favorite son.
What did he say in the athletic piece about Shiloh and telling Mary Kay Cabot to get back in the kitchen and make a sandwich? What did he say about that in the athletic piece?
Mary Kay should have approached him about how to coach him on media relations.
About how to ask questions.
But I feel like it could be worth a conversation about Travis Hunter's practice habits, and I don't know.
And that's the way he framed it, was like, wouldn't you want to know about like what gets him going, what ramps him down, like how to get him motivated? Like, wouldn't you want to know that? Which, sure, I'm open to that. But when you pair it with Shador, it's
Yeah, I think it's just a very complicated line. One more for John in Hendersonville, and then we'll pick a winner.
Hey, guys, my dumbest thing in sports is the blatant money grab known as Toronto versus Rousey this past weekend. Stayed up late, watched that just for her to turtle shell and get up and smile and take that money.
Thank you for the call, John. Robert, you want to speak on this? I did see it after the fact. I did not watch the fight live. Lucas, did you pay any attention to Ronda Rousey's return to the ring?
Yeah, it was a total fixed fight.
Yeah.
I mean, they interviewed CM Punk before, and he said, I think Ronda's going to do what she always does. She's going to shoot in, she's going to pound, she's going to armbar, and that's going to be it. He's like, don't worry, baby, I'll be home in 20 minutes. And the fight lasted 17 seconds.
Oh.
She did exactly what he said. In the post-fight press conference, Ronda was like, yep, appreciate the purse. I'm going house shopping in Hawaii. And by the way, I'm retired. So she took the payday. She took the money. And the other woman had lost a ton of weight, had not fought in an inordinate amount of time. Like, it was very obviously a
very
setup.
Jake Paul.
Yes, very set up. So she took her payday and she got the hell out of there.
Well, they got their 12.4 million global viewers. So
it was on Netflix, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
For Ronda Rousey, she's still that kind of a draw. I mean, listen, if winning mattered, McGregor wouldn't still be a fixture. They're going to bring back Conor McGregor. When is the last time Conor McGregor won a fight?
It's been a minute. The last time he fought is, I believe, when he broke his leg during the fight.
I mean, at this point, he's what? He's almost 40.
But would you not argue, either of you, that he's still the biggest star in that sport, which is more of a problem with the sport than it is with Conor McGregor? I'm not down on McGregor, I guess.
Maybe the biggest name.
I mean, I am down on McGregor because he's a terrible person, but
they've not had a fighter with the gravitas of Conor McGregor since Conor McGregor.
Is he bigger than the UFC? Is he independently bigger than the league that made him
all right
who he was?
Let's do this. Conor McGregor.
How many Instagram followers? Yes.
How many Instagram followers do you guys think he has?
Millions.
Millions.
I'll say 8.6.
Ooh, I'm going to go over. I'll say 10 million.
Try 45.7.
Wow.
How many followers? Okay, UFC. 49.5.
Yeah, I mean, it's a global sport at this point.
Yeah.
It's a global sport.
Well, is there a sport that has, it's the answer is soccer, because just of the widespread nature, the much larger scale nature, but per capita, does UFC have the most diverse population of athletes from all over the place? I mean, I know there's a lot of Eastern European. I know there's a lot of
outside of soccer.
That's what I'm saying. I just fighters 1-to-1. I would assume that
for sure.
Anyway,
his last fight was in 2021.
2021?
That is when he hurt his leg. Yes.
Well, I watched a fight. What fight did he fight? Yeah, I watched the McGregor-Mayweather fight at the Lexus Lounge.
That was in
Bridgestone Arena.
2017, and that was at the peak.
That was the peak.
Yes, that was the absolute peak. When he fought Poirier the last time is when he injured his leg.
Okay, so John on the Ronda Rousey fight/sham. Bob talking about Deion Sanders and his need to have coaches call him on how to coach his sons, as he would say it. Matt just simply suggests Dylan Brooks. Wesley, ML Kiffin, which I very much enjoy as a nickname, and Philip, on the Cavs coach, putting James Harden in a situation to play defense in a critical spot when everybody knows James Harden does not play defense. Yeah. What do we think? Good submissions, by the way.
Yeah, great submissions.
I liked Wesley's delivery the most, even though the Kiffin thing, I think, technically is older than a week, but I still like Wesley.
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, for me, it's kind of the Ronda Rousey thing, like 12 point something million people tuning into her 17-second fight. Robert, tiebreaker.
See, I was going to go off the board, but if I had to pick one that both of you picked, I would also go with John.
Okay,
very good. John gets the tickets, and we'll enjoy the Eric Church. No, I'm sorry, not Eric Church. I've got Eric Church on the brain.
The Jim Nance concert.
The Jim Nance concert.
In 2030.
John knows what he's winning.
He was asked, by the way, Jim Nance, Karski. Karski asked Jim Nance if CBS gets the Super Bowl and Jim Nance and Bill Haslam are the co-chairs of the Super Bowl committee for this thing coming to town in 4 years. Jim Nance was asked by Paul if it would be a conflict to be the co-chair of the Super Bowl committee whilst calling the Super Bowl. And Jim Nance said, no, I feel like that's kind of a conflict. I mean,
Jim said, hello, friend. No.
He said, I have my own life. I'm entitled to, basically I have a right to do these things that I want to do and also do my thing professionally. And
also, I'm a Nashville native.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't get to make that call, but how do Nashvillians feel about Jim Nance and the amount of we and our and this city and our city and that kind of stuff? Do people care because he's Jim Nance?
It's a good look. It's Jim Nance.
Sure. I'm not going to dispute that. I just didn't know if they're given the outsized reaction to Ramon, I feel like it's fair for me to be like, okay, but you're not upset about Jim Nance? I don't know. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. We'll get to some headlines coming up next. Nothing worse than a plumbing, electrical, or HVAC emergency. You don't know what it will cost or if it'll get fixed correctly or if someone is just trying to sell you something. That's where Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical comes in because they're going to solve your problems quickly and make sure that the price that you're told is the price you'll actually pay. No hidden fees or surprises when you get your bill. That's why Hiller, in part, has been in business for over 30 years as a family-owned and operated company. They're going to make sure that the tech that you get assigned to your problem, to your issue, is vetted and trusted. You'll even get a picture of that tech and a link to track them in real time so you don't waste time waiting around. 100% satisfaction guarantee of happy you'll be or the service is free. That is the Happy Hiller promise. So book online with ease today at happyhiller.com.
Oh, the NFL doesn't start for a couple months, but that doesn't matter. The headlines don't stop, and for that, we go to one man who's got the answers to all your off-season questions. That's Lucas Panzica.
So I made Rashee Rice the dumbest thing in sports this week because he is. But listen to this from Adam Schefter, who joined the Pat McAfee Show. This is a clip that the Pat McAfee Show posted. It's a 2-minute clip. Schefter talks for approximately 10% of it. But we skipped over Pat McAfee's long question, and we got to Adam Schefter shedding some light on Rashee Rice's process here. If you missed it earlier, he has been sentenced to serve 30 days in jail after testing positive for marijuana, which violates the terms of his probation for his role in a crash that left multiple people injured a couple years ago on a Dallas highway. He is in jail as we speak. This is Schefter on the situation.
There are a few different sides to this, and we'll present some of what we were told yesterday. But basically, as it was explained to me yesterday, obviously, he did not know that he was going to be going to jail for 30 days here. If he did, there's no way that he would have had the knee surgery that he did last week, so that he'll be in jail in a Dallas County jail, which he now is. He's currently in a jail cell in Dallas County jail, coming off the knee surgery he had last week that'll sideline him 2 months. Now, that's 2 months normally, with the attention and care and rehab that you're going to get. I don't know how this works where you undergo knee surgery and then you're in jail.
So, like, is he going to be rehabbing? Like, what is this
in the yard? No. He's going to be like, hey, how many more sets do you have so I can do my stretches?
I got to be back on the field to catch passes from Patrick Mahomes this fall.
Excuse me, Mr. Guard, do you have a foam roller that I could borrow? You know, I'm a little tight.
Maybe one of those micro massagers like that, like.
Oh, I have one of those. Those are great.
Yeah, they're killer.
I mean, this is crazy. And how is this possible for Rashee Rice to not know that failing a test for THC would put him in jail for a month? Also, can somebody please give the NFL's biggest reporter on ESPN's, I guess, biggest property at this point, a damn microphone to talk into?
Oh, we've been talking about this with Schefter on his podcast for years.
At least his webcam's fixed. He no longer looks like he's broadcasting off a potato. Now it just sounds like he's inside of an aquarium.
But yeah, Rashee Rice, like head-scratching stuff.
Yeah, man. I don't even know where to begin because it's not like he's not even some great player yet in his career, if he's going to become that. Rashee Rice has not lived up to the billing of what he needed to be in Kansas City. Or do you think I'm off about that? I mean, just beyond the off the field stuff, like on the field, he's not a difference maker yet.
He's been a good player for them. I don't have his stats in front of me.
Solid, but he's
second round draft pick. He really nice rookie year, right? Had the 900+ yard season, 7 touchdowns. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl. Suspended for 6 games last year, almost half the season. He ended up with 571 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's a good player.
Good player.
I mean, probably
not worth all this.
The most consistent player they have on offense, not named Travis Kelce right now. Like, he's a better player than Worthy is, right?
And he's another one. I mean, obviously without this level of nonsense around him, to be diplomatic. But yeah, Rashee Rice, not smart.
Real quick, the NFL has approved the ability to play as many as 10 international games starting in 2027. Previously was 8. This year, there will be, how many total? There will be 7 different countries the games are played in.
I can look up the number of games in 2026.
I think there are 8 with the Jaguars playing 2 in London. Don't they have back-to-back weeks?
I have 9 games across 4 continents and 7 countries, according to the NFL press release.
Yeah, so if it was 8 before, I guess I'm confused on how they're playing 9 this year in 7 different countries.
I think only one of the games the Jaguars plays counts.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just the one against the Texans. The Eagles one is just,
Yeah. Okay.
Because it is in back-to-back weeks, right? Don't the Jags stay there?
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so they're basically given a 2-for-1 in London.
Yes.
Because the Jags own that game or something like that, where they get more for having back-to-back games there.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the way that we're heading. It's not a good idea, I guess.
Where's the limit, I guess?
No, there is no limit.
The limit does not exist?
No, we can play a full season over there before long. And, I mean, because what do you think is the thing that they hurt the most by taking these games overseas? Either of you?
Oh, the fans.
Okay, but they don't have to care about the fans
Exactly.
anymore.
Yeah, no.
Like do fans realize this? And I'm not saying that they should like take that line down and just be like, oh, we don't matter anymore to the NFL.
I say, and the players.
Yeah, but also, I mean, have they shown an overwhelming amount of care for the players?
Let's talk about this coming up next.
I think the NFLPA might push back on that. All right, that's next. So we were just talking about international games. The NFL's approved up to 10 international games. And I asked Lucas and Robert the question, who gets hurt the most? Hurt, maybe not the right word. Who is slighted the most? I don't know what the proper terminology or grammar should be here. Who benefits the least from the NFL playing that many international games? And Lucas's initial answer was?
Initial answer was fans.
Correct. And so MLS is interesting to me from a business standpoint, Lucas, because at least my understanding of it is, and maybe you don't have a good answer for me on this, but MLS is still one of the professional sports leagues that we have in this country whose television rights have not ballooned to the point where that pays the freight of the player's salary. MLS still relies heavily on gate, like people coming to the stadium. Now, I would also say, and again, you can tell me if I'm off base on this, I would also say, based on my very limited understanding of MLS, that the people who are fans of MLS are more likely to go to the games en masse than people who are NFL fans or NBA fans, just because I think we're talking about a smaller piece of the pie, but a greater percentage of passionate fans who will go to the lengths that you need to go to an Inter Miami game because they've built it in a swamp by the airport. Well, and there's no parking and all these things.
There's a new stadium.
No, I know that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's it looks like it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Until they pan out, and then you see an active construction zone by the Miami airport, which for my money is one of the worst airports in the country.
Yeah, it's actually in Miami before it was in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
But MLS, the difference is MLS is essentially a single entity business structure. Like the league pretty much owns the clubs in the league. Yeah. So there are owners, of course. There's NFL owners in MLS. You know, Arthur Blank owns Atlanta United. Robert Kraft owns New England Revolution. But they are essentially, I would say, shareholders of the league as opposed to like independent owners the way it is in the NFL. So the league owns like player contracts.
So you would say the inverse of that is the NFL, where the NFL no longer needs the attendance, the money, the revenue generated on tickets to maximize the profits, to pay the players, to give everybody the biggest share of the revenue that they can, because the television contracts are outrageous. Outrageous. I don't know what the balance is. I mean, we have done this. The new Nissan Stadium is an example of this. They shrunk it by almost 10,000 seats. I mean, is it 60 new or old Nissan Stadium is what? Just
64?
No, it's north of that. I want to say it's closer to 70.
68?
I believe it's 68 and change off the top of my head.
69 and change.
69 and change. So the new one is going to be about 60,000 actual seats. I know they're talking about standing room and for cheaper tickets and things like that, concourses where people can participate like they did with the Preds several years ago. I don't know if the Preds still do the standing room only tickets. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've gone to a Preds game, if I'm being honest. But the NFL is building smaller stadiums because they're not really worried about bigger crowds. They don't have to do what college football does, which was we'll pack 105,000, 110,000 into Neyland Stadium and we'll let it be the most raucous environment everywhere. They're more going with the approach that FIFA is taking to the World Cup, you would agree, where they don't necessarily have to care about the cost of tickets or the look of stadiums.
They don't seem to. Yeah, and the only reason tickets are going down now is because people are straight up being like, no, we're not going to pay for this. We're not going to pay this much money.
So Robert, I'll ask you, because you're the one of the three of us. I mean, I go to NFL games every Sunday, but I am not attending as a fan. I'm not purchasing a ticket, parking, food, all of these things. But you go to NFL games as a fan more frequently than Lucas or me, obviously. How does that land on you as an NFL fan? That they don't really need you necessarily. They do to some extent, but not the way that they used to. And the way that they're shifting around the inventory of the games reflects that.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me as much as a fan. Where it will start bothering me if they start playing like more of these games.
Well, that's where we're headed, though.
Right, where it's going to be like, okay, well, Ravens-Steelers this year is not going to be in Baltimore or Pittsburgh. It's going to be in Australia.
Texans-Jags is already in London.
Like Rams-49ers. Like when you start taking away the big rivalries, the big games, the moments that should be for fans here, that have invested in the league and made it what it is, that's when I'm going to be upset. I mean, it's kind of trending that way already.
Yes. Yep.
Like, I was going to go to Dallas to see the Ravens-Cowboys game, but because, Cheyenne's dad is also a Cowboys fan. We've been talking about this for a long time, finding a game to go to together. But there's no way we're going to go to Brazil. It's like $1,500 a ticket per person.
Well, to
fly there.
You're going to go to Brazil.
Yeah, for your wedding. I've already started in a savings allotment just to buy my ticket.
We've all been mentally and financially preparing for your wedding that's 10 years from now. Yes, Lucas, we know.
Oh, but once we get there, the rice and peas will be so good. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Beans.
Rice and beans, whatever it is. Sure, they'll be delicious. Plantains, God, they're so gross.
They don't eat. They don't eat plantains.
Okay, what's the other thing?
Much.
What's the other food that they have that I can?
Steak. Lots and lots of steak.
Jack,
I'm cool with that.
On YouTube, you can interact with the show. You can call us 615-737-1045, or you can interact with the show via the FNM Bank chat, where the show is live streamed Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Jack on YouTube says we are rapidly heading towards Bears and Packers in Tokyo. I'm telling you, had the pandemic not happened, we'd be playing games in Japan by now. They were planning it. They were talking about it. Pre-pandemic. I remember the last time, or the first time, at least for me, that the Titans went. Had the Titans been in London before 18? Surely. For as long as we've been playing international games. Was that the first London Titans game?
Pretty sure that was the Titans' first London game. Yeah, so they had played in Mexico before that, if I'm not mistaken. But
either way. So
maybe that was just the Oilers playing in Mexico. But yeah, it was definitely their first London game.
So we'll say the first London game for the Titans.
But when did the NFL start playing in London?
Like the 80s. Coach Mack has talked about this before. Where he was a part of the Bears, I think, played at some point.
Now, the first London game, regular season game, was in 2007.
When is the NFL Europe thing?
NFL Europe...
Or at least Coach Mack has talked about being a part of the contingent that explored London as a site for NFL games dating back
Germany.
to the 80s.
Coach Mack, I remember his story of celebrating. It was his 40th birthday at a brewery with the Bears in Berlin.
Yes.
That's the story that I remember. One of the many stories I remember most from Coach Mack. So, yes, he had those experiences, but I don't think the NFL started playing regular season games in London until into the 2000s.
So, long story short, first Titans London game, I remember being over there and people talking about, they're exploring Tokyo as a site. And that was 2018. I mean, again, there's a million different things that need to happen before something like that goes down. And it does take years of planning and process and dealing with different governments and countries and continents and all these different things. But if you don't think we're playing in Saudi Arabia at some point, I would say in the not too distant future for all the money that's there. I mean, WWE's already there, right?
Next year, WrestleMania.
Yeah, come on. I mean, we are not far away from just the money grab that is all of these different international games, especially for a country like Saudi that is trying to sports wash and failed, which I'm very happy to see that they failed with the Live Golf thing.
I've got great news.
What do you got?
Zach Lyons is bringing in pot roast.
Oh!
I feel like that deserves a laser light show.
Well, I feel like if I did that, you would be like, why are we using the laser light show for things that don't matter? You sound like the old snail woman off Monsters, Inc. with that, Mike Wazowski.
No, it's almost a little too much emotion in your voice for that woman.
Oh,
Is
you're right.
Ross?
You're right, yes.
Ross?
Oh, you wanted pot roast. Yeah. Oh, well, we've got your pot roast, Wazowski.
Yeah, bring your energy down just a little bit.
Coming up next.
The final hour. Well, let's take a phone call here real quick. 615-737-1045 is the number. Emmett Jones says, not with this Iran war that's going on that we'll be playing games in Saudi. I don't know. 615-737-1045. Jim is in Murfreesboro.
Yeah, hey, guys. When I was a kid, 72 hours before the kickoff of your home game, if the stadium wasn't sold out, they didn't show your game locally. Now, I don't know if any of you ever dealt with things like that.
No.
But times have definitely changed. I just wanted to throw that out there, the tough part of being a kid.
Yeah,
anyway,
I appreciate the call. Yeah, no, it's definitely an evolution over time. I can't remember a time where I personally experienced that. I don't know if you two can either. Either way, the final hour's next.
12:03. Good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. The city of Nashville hosted a press conference this morning at Nissan Stadium to officially announce Nashville as the host of Super Bowl 64 happening in 2030 at the new Nissan Stadium. Jim Nantz emceeing, Governor Bill Lee, Titans President Burke Nihill, Mayor Freddie O'Connell, and others speaking. Meanwhile, last night in the NBA playoffs, the Knicks trailed by 22 with less than 8 minutes to go in the fourth, but charged back behind a 38-point performance from Jalen Brunson, beating the Cavs in OT 115-104 at Madison Square Garden, taking Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals in the biggest playoff comeback in Knicks history. Tonight, it's the Stanley Cup playoffs starting the Western Conference Finals. The Knicks getting Game 1 in the Eastern Conference. Of course, tonight in the NHL, the Western Conference Finals get underway with Game 1 between Vegas and Colorado. In Denver, the Avs without star Cale Makar tonight. Puck drop at 7. The SEC baseball tournament continues on this afternoon. Both Tennessee and Vandy moving on to today. Vanderbilt taking on Florida for first pitch coming up in about an hour. Tennessee scheduled to face Arkansas at 4:30. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Final hour is upon us. Thanks for hanging out, jumping in. We have a few things to talk about. We will be on the field. Well, media will be on the field for Titans OTAs tomorrow. Titans have had several practices in the last couple of days. They've been closed to the media. We talked about, we don't really know a lot about what's going on over there because there has not been a lot of information disseminated other than a few small video clips, which I know Titans fans enjoy. And we're going to talk about the biggest thing to learn from OTAs here in just a second. 615-737-1045. The number, if you want to jump in, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Also available for you to live stream the show. So the Teresa Walker, by the way, has tweeted us. T was in studio yesterday, of course, with the Associated Press. She was at this press conference with me earlier, several other members of the Nashville media, Titans media, news media, like WPLN, all the different news stations in town, because the Super Bowl, of course, is coming to Nashville in 2030. And there was a press conference today that was given, and I was expressing my lack of interest in the, for lack of a better term, corporate circle jerk that felt like that was that press conference, even though I wanted to make sure that I said Burke Nihill was really the only person I felt like properly acknowledged the people of Nashville the way that they should be. Teresa said this is more a celebration than it is a press conference proper, and so now I know not to go to something like that again.
Did she have any updates on whether Jim Nantz was there or if he was a Nashville resident?
Do you dislike Jim Nantz now?
No, I just think it was overly aware.
Are you also going to be sick of Marty Smith by the time he hosts MCs this free event on Broadway? They have like a whole stage like it's the draft again downtown, by the way.
I wish Marty Smith was there this morning. I thought he was going to be there. That's why I was excited to hear the press conference.
I didn't see him. He may have been there. Anyway, yes, the big event downtown tonight is going to have Marty Smith emceeing it. They have a stage on Lower Broadway like it's New Year's Eve or the draft or any other big event that they've thrown downtown. Is that, and I'm not going to complain about something like that, but is that something that's common when you get a Super Bowl for the first time? Your downtown throws a big party, or is that just specifically a Nashville thing? Like, oh, we're going to do this basically every year until we get the Super Bowl. Every time you mention Super Bowl, just know that we're going to do it better, and we have all these different things that we can do on Lower Broadway. So a Wednesday night, we're going to show you how we get it done.
I mean, who's the last, what is the last time? Yeah.
Vegas.
A Super Bowl hosted for the first time.
Vegas.
Vegas?
Vegas feels right because
I guess. I mean, the Raiders hadn't been there, so.
I mean, what's a more
sense.
recent stadium that's been built even than Allegiant, which is the Vegas stadium? It's either Vegas or SoFi.
Yeah, but L.A. has hosted Super Bowls. I'm just talking about as a city.
Yeah, it's probably Vegas.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I don't know if they, also threw a big party on the Strip. I assume that, again, it's like the
A lot of other
17th
stuff.
biggest thing happening in Las Vegas on any given day. But it's going to be free to the public. I'm sure it'll be cool. They do those things really well. And if you got nothing better to do on a Wednesday night, you might as well go downtown.
Let's see. Indy has only hosted one. It was in 2012.
I was there.
Jacksonville has only hosted the one in 2005. It's still insane to me that Jacksonville has hosted a Super Bowl. I don't know.
I mean, it really shouldn't be, though, right?
I guess
it's a
not.
Florida location. They don't have to take it back to Tampa or what's the other one? Miami?
But yeah, 2024 in Vegas is the last time that a city got it for the first time. Before that, you got to go to 2014, New York metropolitan area.
Which was that, and that was like a one-off at MetLife, right? That was the first Broncos-Seahawks Super Bowl. That was Peyton with the safety to start the game.
Sounds right. Yeah, Broncos Seahawks blew them out.
Because then the Broncos won it in 15.
Is that New York's only hosted one Super Bowl?
I mean, why would you host a Super Bowl in New York if it's not, I mean, the elements. You're talking about New York in February? New Jersey in February?
It's not a dome. That's where
the
the World Cup final is going to be.
This question was different in the summer, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Question that was asked of several of the representatives who were on hand to talk about the Super Bowl, the hyperfixation on Lower Broadway. I mean, Lucas, you're the closest thing that we have to a native Nashvilleian around here, even though you didn't necessarily grow up here. Are you at all? Do you care at all about the stigmatization of Nashville as bachelorette parties and Lower Broadway and cowboy boots and cowboy hats? Because it just feels like something that's an easy thing to lean into, even if they do showcase the Ryman, showcase the East Bank. The East Bank will look totally transformed, one would imagine, by 2030, if not totally, but nearly transformed by 2030. I would defer to people who live here and who care more about Nashville being showcased as opposed to just Lower Broadway, because, every time they play a game here, they're showing Lower Broadway.
Yeah. I mean, my perspective on it is living here for the first 9 years of my life and then coming back intermittently between moving to Birmingham at the age of 9 and graduating college and being back here full time. But I always feel like a tug both ways. Like there's this half of me that rolls my eyes at a lot of it, right? Saying like, they kind of wish that things were like the older way or it's easier to get around. It felt like more of a community, yada, yada, yada. And then there's the other half of me that enjoys all of this stuff that was there at the draft and enjoys an occasional, stroll down Lower Broadway. And as a sports fan, thinks the fact that we're hosting a Super Bowl is insane. The fact that we have an MLS team that hosted Messi here for a cup final, like all these things.
Yeah.
So I'm always kind of split with it. But overall, yeah, I can't say, it bothers me. I think there are people that grumble about it, that wish Nashville was the Nashville of 2005. And a lot of that has to do with the way prices shoot up, right?
Yeah.
And becoming a quote-unquote it city. It does affect a lot of people in that way. But no, I mean, it's hard not to just sit back and just be amazed at all of it.
No, of course. Are there anybody, I don't know if you guys have gotten calls like this. I saw our buddy Garrett Hargis complaining on his Instagram story about people calling in. I don't know if the morning show got calls to the effect of not wanting the Super Bowl or logistical issues.
I was listening on the way in. Rhett was in with Ramon. They got one call I was listening to that said, we are not prepared from a transportation perspective. Like, this person said, I'm going to leave for a week. I don't want to be here when the Super Bowl is here. We're just not ready in terms of the mass transit, the traffic that's going to turn into for, again, like a week and a half leading up to the game. Not just that weekend.
No, the Super Bowl is such a large-scale event. It really is a week-long series of events. And even then, like the infrastructure that will need to be brought in that the NFL will specifically bring in, the road closures that will start. Pittsburgh had to make schools virtual for the draft itself because of what that did to downtown Pittsburgh. And again, you understand that Nashville has done this. Lower Broad is not necessarily the concern of the school districts, but there will be logistical hurdles. I'd just be curious to know if there are people in the audience, I'm sure there are some, what their pushback would be. I think it is a net positive. And I'm a Davidson County resident. I think all three of us are Davidson County residents.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have, I think at least a sense of what the general population in Davidson County is feeling about this, given that that's where the bulk of the taxes and all these different things are coming from. I do think net positive. I, of course, understand why people who have no interest in the Super Bowl or in the NFL, if such people do exist, I'm sure there are, that would just kind of roll their eyes and be like, okay, like,
yeah,
I'm just trying to get the, my favorite restaurant or get across town without it taking an hour and a half and 17 different detours.
I don't know if you did the polls, but
I did not today, but I
because
can.
The thing that I would want to know is if you are a Nashville native, a Nashville local, are you more likely to embrace and enjoy the Super Bowl festivities or stay the hell away? Like if you live in Williamson County, if you live out in Lebanon, Dixon, Murfreesboro, are you more likely to stay put and say, I'm not going to go anywhere near that mess, or say, no, we're hosting a Super Bowl, I'm going to go check out what's going on?
Because you would have been in the former, right? Had it not been in Nashville, you would have said, I'd stay the hell away. We talked about this yesterday. I've been to several Super Bowls, not even in a working capacity, just to go.
Yeah.
Because the week-long event is a party. It's a great time.
Yeah, like if the Titans made a Super Bowl while I was in college, just pure fan mode, there's no way I would try to make my way and spend all the money to go to the game. I'd probably drive 3 hours west to Nashville.
But I'm just talking about like being around the not even the game. Like you wouldn't if this was a Super Bowl in Atlanta and you were in high school or college or whatever, you would have had no interest in going and seeing and partaking in the street.
No, I'd want to watch
stuff.
I'd want to watch somewhere where I know I'm going to be surrounded.
I'm
by
not asking you about
Titans
the game.
fans.
I'm talking about the week.
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? So you would be in the former category.
I don't know. Maybe like 21-year-old me. Maybe that would be different.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's a good time. It's a big-ass time, especially with like a group of buddies. Like Robert goes somewhere with a group of his friends for the draft every year. I'm not saying I'm doing that for the Super Bowl every year. But.
Lonzo says he would stay the hell away. Curtis says, it ain't for us locals anyway. I'm cool.
But it is for us. It should be for... and again, I'm not native, I'm local. So I don't want to say us and try and grift off of this city the way that so many people, I don't want to say even grift off this city, but like a lot of people love Nashville. A lot of people love living in Nashville, coming to Nashville. But I do feel like 11 years in, I'm going to say us. It should be for us. So and I understand that the NFL and the Super Bowl is a 10 times, 100 times larger scale than just the city of Nashville and Davidson County and Metro Nashville residents and things like that. But shouldn't it also be for us?
You would think, yeah.
So
I would say so.
That runs counter to how, and maybe I'm thinking of this because I know I'm going to be able to get different places that aren't going to give me a bunch of problems, and I feel like I'm going to have logistical ease rather than your average person. But I do think that I hope people get the opportunity to enjoy it, and that it's more enjoyment than it is burden for people locally. I would hope that that's the case. I have no idea whether it will or not. We'll see if we can pull it off. The other thing about this is, because I know we're going to talk more about OTAs next, we asked Peter O'Reilly, who's the NFL's vice president of basically events, like he does the international games, he does the Super Bowls, he is the VP of events. The idea of multiple Super Bowls grammatically correct, are multiple Super Bowls possible here? And should there be, just by nature of the investment that the city and the taxpayers and the state has made in the new Nissan Stadium, should there not be some kind of requisite that they would be at least in consideration to host on a regular basis, somewhat frequent basis, when they're already doing that with SoFi and Vegas? What Peter O'Reilly said and what everybody else, basically to a man or woman, said who we got to talk to at this press conference was that the NFL is basically going to let them do one, and then if it goes the way that everybody thinks it's going to go, great, we can do it again. And now we know we can do it, and it'll be easy, and we'll bring it back in some level of rotation. I do think for the level of state and taxpayer investment, multiple Super Bowls should be on the table for the city of Nashville. I think it has to start there. We can take your phone calls on this. We can also talk a little bit about OTAs before we head out there tomorrow. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. An interesting thing that was pointed out to Lucas and I just now, Lucas and I, is that the idea, Jerry World has only had one Super Bowl?
Yeah. The Jerry World, Indy, New York, Vegas, and Jacksonville have hosted one.
Vegas will host two.
So, yes.
But that is surprising that Jerry World has only had one. How long has AT&T Stadium been up? It's been the better part of a decade plus, right? It's closer to 15 years.
How much of that is impacted because Jerry World is not in Dallas proper? It's in Arlington.
Buddy, if that mattered, they would not have
Levi
San Francisco.
Stadium.
Oh, my God. San Francisco. Levi Stadium is closer to San Jose than it is San Francisco.
Yeah.
And they had all the Super Bowl stuff in San Francisco, but Levi Stadium is just off again by this electrical plant.
What market would y'all guess has hosted the most?
Ooh, I bet New Orleans is up there. New Orleans or Atlanta has to be.
New Orleans is tied with another market.
New Orleans or Miami?
Yes.
New Orleans
They've
or Miami.
each hosted 11 times. Miami has not hosted since 2020. New Orleans has not hosted since 25. They are not officially slated to host any time here in the near future. LA is second with 8, but they are going to host the next Super Bowl. Will be at SoFi Stadium, so they will be up to 9. Then it's Tampa, who has hosted 5 Super Bowls.
Yeah, one was COVID, too.
Yeah, 21. But going from 84 to 21, Tampa Bay has hosted 5 Super Bowls. Phoenix has hosted 4. San Diego, Houston has hosted 3. San Francisco has hosted 3. Atlanta has hosted 3 and is about to host a 4th.
I would have thought the number would be way higher on Atlanta.
2028 will make it 4 for Atlanta. And then you have Detroit and Minneapolis that have each hosted 2. So is there anybody not on this list that you're like, how have they not hosted a Super Bowl?
Well, who's got a dome? Arizona?
Yeah, we said Phoenix.
Okay,
4.
sorry.
They've hosted 4 times.
Can you run through the list again for me one more time? I'm having a hard time.
Miami, New Orleans, L.A., Tampa, Phoenix, San Diego, Houston, Atlanta, San Francisco, Detroit, Minneapolis, Jacksonville, Dallas, Indianapolis, New York, Vegas, now Nashville.
There's not one that jumps off the page to me because you're not going to have one in Buffalo. You're not going to have Seattle, right?
It's more surprising to me that New York and Dallas have only hosted 1 each.
If they put a dome on MetLife, then maybe they can.
And D.C.'s never had one?
D.C.'s never had one.
Yeah.
Well, they will once this new fangled
Trump
stadium they're
Stadium.
building, yeah.
The new Trump Stadium on the old RFK site, which is going to be just a spectacle.
And it looks awesome.
615-737-1045 is how you jump in on the Super Bowl conversation.
Chicago, yeah.
Yeah, but outdoors, out Chicago in February?
But when did the NFL start doing this? Like, it has to be a dome. Because there's plenty here that are not domes.
Right, but it's not necessarily just about the dome. It's about the fact that you can play outside in Miami in February.
Yeah, but like New York has hosted a Super Bowl.
Right, and it was a one-off.
Without a dome.
Yes, it was a one-off.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
We're not going to take the thing to Buffalo.
When did the NFL start this?
I think
saying it has to be a dome stadium if it's anywhere where cold weather could be affected.
I think that's just always. I don't know if it's written in a bylaw somewhere, but I think it's just always been an underwritten principle that you have to play in a place where you may have a chance to get the game off the ground for lack of elements. Now you could always deal with rain.
San Francisco's not a dome,
but San Francisco is in California in February, where it's okay. It's going to be 50 degrees, but you can play football in 50 degrees. You're not dealing with snow, right? Not in San Fran.
Super Bowls did not require a dome until the NFL mandated it in the 1970s. The league adopted an unwritten rule that any city with an average historical game day temperature below 50 degrees Fahrenheit must be played in a dome or retractable roof stadium to avoid extreme weather or winter weather.
Yeah, so basically at the onset of the league, because the NFL became the NFL in 1967, like the NFL proper as we know it with the AFL and the NFL. So since the merger, I mean, basically 3 years after the merger, we've played Super Bowls in climates that are favorable to outdoor football.
I wonder what other NFL markets are like in this same process that Nashville has been in for the last few years. Like, when's our Super Bowl? Are we going to get a Super Bowl?
There's not, after us in Buffalo, right? Who's really on deck? It's Jacksonville and a renovation.
Yeah.
But there's not really somebody who's obviously.
And DC.
Yeah, DC. So it would be DC. Let's go to Jim in Fairview.
What's up, guys?
Yo.
Hey, first off you're not going to find me anywhere close to Nashville if Super Bowl gets here because you deal with traffic on a regular basis. It's no good there. But you guys remember back in, I think, 2017 when they had the NHL finals and the NFL draft at the same time? I mean, that pulled off fairly good if I remember.
Well, it wasn't they didn't have the Stanley Cup and the draft at the same time in 2017.
2 years apart.
But we did have thank you for the call, Jim. We did have an inordinate amount of things going on draft week, right?
Oh, I'm trying to remember what the Preds. Well, that would have been during the Preds regular season. So I can't remember if the Preds had a game that week.
I mean, I'm sure there was a Preds home game at some point that week. What am I thinking of though? Wait, didn't we have something where CMA Fest and Bonnaroo and it was the Stanley Cup. It was the Stanley Cup.
Bonnaroo, I was at Bonnaroo during that Stanley Cup finals. The only game of that finals that I missed was game 6 where the Penguins eventually won the Stanley Cup, and Bonnaroo had big screens set up for people to watch those games. But yes, summer of 2017.
So we had Stanley Cup, we had Bonnaroo, we had CMA Fest. There might have been one other thing that was not quite to that scale, but we just had an outsized amount of humanity in the city over the course of that week.
Yeah, 2017 was a movie, as the kids say. We were event maxing.
How'd you feel?
That's next. That's the next one.
How'd you feel about that? Event maxing?
We ran.
I feel like we can't start doing this.
We ran
I feel
Chugi
gross.
into the ground.
6-7.
We ran that. We ran. I feel like we haven't really used chopped. We ran cap into the ground. Maxing is the next one.
I just want it to be over. Why can't we just talk like normal people? Is that as old as I want to sound?
That would be too simple.
Okay, very good. Let's go to Tucker in Hermitage.
What up, guys? So since Nashville is such a centralized location like where Nissan Stadium is there a possibility that the draft could move to Nashville since it's such a favorable location? Indianapolis is cool, but it's not as attractive as Nashville. So
sorry, do you mean the combine, Tucker?
What do you said the draft? Did you mean the?
Oh, I'm sorry, the combine. The combine.
No, we can't do the combine. It's not even about. It's not even about location to the stadium. It's one. The only other place that they would move it is Los Angeles because the NFL networks, and I don't know how much ESPN. Is ESPN going to keep all the NFL network studios that are built basically into the side of SoFi? I don't know. But the only other place they would take that is LA because of the network presence. Indy keeps the combine because of the proximity to the medical campus for there. And I know we have hospitals here, but again, you're talking about what's the closest hospital for the purposes of the medicals to Nissan Stadium? Is it Vandy? Is it Ascension? So you're talking about something that is not logistically easy. You have tunnels literally under Lucas Oil to the hospital system.
But to be clear, it would be logistically easier than Los Angeles.
LA is a disaster.
It would be
LA
awful.
is awful for the combine. Yeah, I hope they never do that. Indy should always have the combine. The combine should be nowhere else in America but Indianapolis. Because of one, it's about the players and the coaches and the football people and their need to just knock all these things out in a centralized location. I would not want the combine here. It would be, I wouldn't say useless here, but it would take away a lot of the aspects of the combine that are important.
We could pull it off, but I agree that this would be pretty. If you said what cities outside of Indy could do the combine and do it logistically well, like Nashville, I think would be pretty high on that list. But yes, it should stay in Indy.
Yeah, and it's about the connectivity to the stadium.
yeah,
and the hospital system.
Indy's too perfect for it.
Yeah, that's what it is. BTS says spoken by a native. No, I've never lived in Indy. In fact, I've lived here way longer than I've lived in Indiana. 615-737-1045 is the number. Okay, Robert, how do you want to do this OTA questions segment?
Just what are your biggest questions about OTAs, and what are you most interested in learning about the Titans during this OTAs process?
Okay, so that's always a tough one with OTAs because they're not in pads. Because the biggest question that I have regarding the Titans roster is still what? It's still the offensive line.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to learn about who's going to be the starting offensive line in OTAs.
No, but I still think you can learn who's running with the ones. Is there anyone that's getting 2 looks that hasn't necessarily been participating in that group?
And that's a worthwhile question simply because of, are they going to do it 1s and 2s and 3s as we all expect them to, or are they going to mix and match as much as humanly possible? Like, obviously Cam Ward is the starting quarterback, so that much will not be in question. But I think, Robert, they could have a different offensive line combination out there every day in front of Cam for what they're asking these guys to do right now, which is not a ton. Like, they're just asking them to execute technique and assignments and things like that. So, and also, it may be different on, today. They're out there today, and it may be a completely different combination of things that they're doing today versus what they show us tomorrow, because it'll be the only day that we're allowed out there this week. And then another day, 2 more days on 2 following weeks before 3 days of minicamp.
And this is something that doesn't have the broad appeal of who's starting, who's getting snaps with the first team. But I'm interested to see how Robert Saleh runs practices. Like, what's the intensity like? What's the frequency like? How often are they doing drills? How often is it teamwork? How often, and what does that look like? Because it's a lot of different coaches. How much does he enable his coaches to coach their position groups? How much is he micromanaging? I'm interested to see the entire aspect of practice.
And that's the answer to me, but that I don't think has broad appeal to the audience.
But that, we can learn more about that.
Yes.
Then we're going to learn about what the Titans are going to be or who's going to start in 2026.
Correct. My observations when I come back from doing practice tomorrow on Friday will likely be mostly about the coaching staff than it will be about the players that are out there. Now, obviously, we'll have some thoughts on the players. I assume Cam will be made available tomorrow. They said selected players. They did not specify Cam. I haven't asked specifically. I would be rather upset if they didn't make Cam available.
Yeah, how much time is Saleh spending with offense versus defense, considering he is going to be the defensive play caller for the Titans as head coach?
But even then, I don't want to read too much into one day, because I think they're going to, you can do stuff in front of the media that you wouldn't otherwise do in practice. Like, if Robert Saleh is spending an outsized amount of time with the offense, I'm not going to say, oh, look, Robert Saleh is divvying up his time in a way that Brian Callahan did not, right? Because Callahan just stayed with the offense his first year. You had guys like Amani Hooker talking about the fact that he wished the head coach was more all-encompassing in his role. So I suppose we'll learn that more from talking to the players about how the practices have gone, since we will not get to see a full week of practice until we get to mandatory minicamp a little less than a month from now. Is when that'll take place. Somebody says, how much rock, paper, scissors? Yeah, I don't know, man. I think as a coach, and I want you to make sure that you're differentiating here in what I'm going to say, but I don't think that Robert Saleh is some tough, hard-nosed, grizzled coach in the way that he goes about it. I think he's closer to Callahan, and I don't mean that as an indictment. But if you're asking me to compare coaches and how they carry themselves, how they deal with players, how they interact, and again, we'll learn more about that tomorrow at the practices. But Dable to me reminds me more of Mike Vrabel in the way that he goes about it, and Saleh reminds me more of Callahan in the way that he carries himself and the way that he orchestrates a lot of this stuff. And that's an early impression that I've had. And I'm not saying that Robert Saleh is going to have the record of Brian Callahan and then Brian Dable should have been a head coach. All these different things, right? There's layers to it. But from a demeanor standpoint, yeah, he's way more Callahan than he is Vrabel.
Yeah, you don't.
Just comparing to previous Titans coaches.
As a rookie, you're probably not walking around on eggshells, that kind of thing.
He's very loose. He's very he when he talks to you, and I'm sure there are moments when he can light your ass up, because he's got 8 kids and you have to, right? If for no other reason, there are some parental things that kick in. But he's not somebody that puts you on eggshells. He is not somebody who, with Vrabel specifically versus Callahan, what was the differentiating thing about Mike that Albert Breer was most recently reporting on? He controls every room that he's in the minute that he steps into the room. Dable does more of that stuff, but he also does it in a different kind of way. So it's not necessarily a one-to-one comparison.
I mean, just look at, how they operate on the sidelines.
Yes.
If you're going to stick with the Vrabel Saleh comparison.
I'm not comparing them.
Sure. Well, we kind of are, like, for the purposes of this
Okay,
conversation.
sure, yeah.
But just their demeanor and behavior on the sideline. It's funny because they both get put in that box of, like, alpha male, defensive guy. Like, oh, the Titans just turned to Saleh, another version of what they had in Vrabel. But they are extremely different personalities. Saleh, I guess, as a head coach with New York, was much more stoic on the sideline, which is something that he didn't like. He's talked about that.
Yeah.
He's felt like being a defensive play caller keeps him more connected to the players that are in the game, more involved. But when that dude is a DC in San Francisco, he's like leaping on the sideline. He's running out and like chest bumping players, going nuts, which is not necessarily something you see from Mike Vrabel. Whereas Dable, I think, is a lot. I mean, I don't.
He runs down the sidelines when they're scoring touchdowns on returns.
Yeah, but not like in the way that Saleh would go out and celebrate with players coming off the field. I don't know.
Did you watch him last year?
I don't know, man. When I think of Mike Vrabel on the sideline, I think of Vrabel like hands on knees, head down.
Well, that was because they were losing here at the end. I think that's a lasting impression for a reason because of what the last couple of. I mean, go look at the New England thing. He's all over the place, and I'm not saying you're wrong about his time here, but I don't know. I felt like he was always super animated on the sidelines. Stuff like throwing the red flag and stuff like that. Like he's always been, and the facial expressions do a lot of the heavy lifting for Vrabel. That feels like something the camera focuses on more of. Dable is a hothead for sure. Like there are going to be some, I don't know if it's quite to the extreme of Callahan with Levis in that Jets game. What the F are you doing? Type of situation, but that's more of what I have in my mind's eye watching Brian Dable. Either way, we'll learn more about the coaching staff tomorrow. Last call for phone calls. We'll update the polls that I did just 20 minutes ago. Coming up next. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Do you want to share the news that you just blurted out for Robert and me as the microphones were turning on?
As you both know, I am a staunch supporter of Dua Lipa's musical catalog.
You saw she's getting married, yeah?
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
I mean, her engagement looked lovely.
She is releasing her live show from Mexico City tomorrow. From the...
So not an announcement of a concert in Mexico City.
No, she's dropping the full live album from the show in Mexico City, which looked insane. Radical Optimism tour, man. I was so mad I couldn't get to one.
Look at you. You're like a little girl with your love of Dua Lipa. You're like following Taylor Swift around the country. I love that. Love that for you.
Now, we're talking sheer talent. There's no comparison. There's no comparison. To be clear.
Between whom?
Between Dua Lipa and Taylor Swift.
Go ahead and welcome that into your Twitter mentions.
I'm just
if you
saying. Love T Swift. But
they will find you.
I know.
They will find you very fast. They will be upon you like locust if you dare say something like that into a microphone. What is Robert's Dua Lipa? Is that John Harbaugh?
Oh, my Dua Lipa. My Dua Lipa would be, I don't know, man. Everyone wants to talk about who's the country singer with the bangs. Ella Langley.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to talk about Ella Langley. I think my celebrity crush right now is Casey Musgraves.
But okay, again, like
that's not what we're talking about.
We're not talking about a crush.
Just my love.
No, that's not true with you. We're talking about a crush.
Well,
you are in love with this.
It can be all encompassing, but we are strictly talking about musically.
Does Megan ever threaten you over Dua Lipa?
She feels the same way.
Okay. That's important in a relationship.
We know Megan will sling insults to women if needed.
Ooh, has she? Like publicly?
Not publicly, no.
She could be fierce. Casey is a great shout. Casey's new album was
You turned
fantastic.
me on. You told me the album was good.
The Mexico Honey song is good.
Yes.
I went and listened to a couple songs on it. It was really good. That Dry Spell song, though, guilty pleasure. I just love it.
Larry Reporting says his is Haley Williams.
I was just going to say.
Excellent choice.
I was just going to say Haley Williams has got to be up there.
Yep. Her solo stuff is fantastic.
I don't know who, because I feel like we had a conversation like this off the air the other day. There's not anybody going right now that I'm like straight up infatuated. Not on the level that you're talking about with Dua Lipa. Like that I'm straight up infatuated with.
Again, I feel I should make it clear. It is like 90% music.
No,
like I
nobody believes
think
you.
Dua Lipa has
I have receipts.
A catalog of 20 bangers, like all-time bangers.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Like a Dua Lipa show is like smash hit after smash hit after smash hit after smash hit. Triple threat. Songwriting, singing, dancing. Just saying. Name me a triple threat right now.
Justin Timberlake.
Doing it better than Dua Lipa. Justin Timberlake's getting DUIs. Name me one that's doing it currently.
Does she act? She doesn't act.
I don't think it's like a big part of what she's doing.
Okay. I mean, again, I'm not the person to ask about this. I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to pop culture.
Tate McRae is one that people would, I'm not like the biggest fan of like her music. But
had you not submitted the category of dancing as a qualifier, I probably would have said Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift, notorious, horrendous dancer. Feels like she should have more rhythm than she does, but that's fine. Beyonce? Usher?
Oh, yeah, of course. Beyonce.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Beyonce and Usher, they're probably up there. I'm sure there are other acts that we're thinking of or that we're not thinking of right now. Anyway, I did do some rapid fire polls about 20 minutes ago, so we can knock those out if we want.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. What are you most likely to do as a Nashville resident? Enjoy Super Bowl week, go downtown, be a part of the festivities when that happens in 2030, or leave town, stay away. 3 votes.
I think something's going on with Twitter.
Oh, no. Yeah, it has to be something going on with Twitter.
No, listen, if it's not, something is wrong with our Twitter accounts, because the 2 of you quote tweeted one yesterday. They got 6.
2 out of the 3 votes said leave town. So
That's
66% of the audience. What is the biggest Titans question you have heading into OTAs? John says, I don't think they're going to tell us much, but I guess I'm looking to hear from Titans media. Is the practice being run like a well-run football team?
Sure.
Daniel says, is Oladejo going to do something? Also something we're not going to know.
Yeah, no pads, but we'll get a look at Femi. It's been a while, right? He hasn't practiced in front of us in a while. Somebody has already texted us in our group text, one of several group texts that we're in, the horny bonk meme for Lucas. So
it has nothing to do with that, okay?
It's coming through the microphone.
No, I think it says more about you guys
in
that
a
you just can't fathom.
way.
You can't fathom enjoying a female artist without it being due to perverse reasons. You just can't even wrap your mind around that concept, clearly.
The more defensive that you get, the less convincing that you sound. You're trying to convince yourself that it is not of a sexual nature.
John says the dumbest thing in sports this week is, this is really good. He quotes an Ole Miss baseball tweet from yesterday. So it's a graphic, and in big block white letters it says, the first college baseball program ever. Yep. And then in tiny script under it says, to challenge a call using the automatic ball strike system.
For God's sakes. Like, you want to talk about engagement farming? That to me feels like they had to put that out there knowing, all right, we're going to get killed for this.
Who is the first college baseball program ever?
Ever? I don't know.
Let's see what Google AI has to say.
Are those the polls?
Amherst College and Williams College played the first ever intercollegiate baseball game in 1859 in Pittsfield, Massachusetts.
That's where Greg Cosell played his college baseball. Amherst.
That's where UMass is located as well. Yeah, those are the polls.
All right, very good. Robert, give us something to talk about for a minute. We've run out of gas.
Have you guys heard about the new thing that's sweeping the middle schools and high schools?
It seems like it's what's happening to Lucas in our group text right now, where he's being accused of being publicly horny.
No, it is poop lasagna. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
Okay, so the issue is kids are now going to the bathroom and putting it's like okay, I'm gonna go poop in the bathroom, and then I'm gonna tell my buddy, hey, help me make this poop lasagna.
Oh, no.
And so
play the music.
So all of these kids are doing this, and now they're overflowing toilets.
I'm packing it up.
Dude, we have a minute and a half.
We literally can't leave.
Yes, we can.
You can't leave.
Yes,
you
we
have to sit here and talk
Zach
about
can
it.
talk an extra 30 seconds.
So
That's not real.
Ross can extend his update.
The issue is
That's
that they
not
are
real.
not having a way to police this to get kids to stop doing this.
I'm taking my headset off.
No, don't take it off. Wait, I have Dua Lipa news at the end of this.
No, you don't.
I do. I promise I do. That's the only way to get over those toilets is to Dua Lipa over them.
Oh, my God.
Okay, we can end now. We can end.
Yeah, let's be done now. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Look it up. It's a crazy story.
You asked him.
I know. I will be more prepared tomorrow. Well, I won't be here tomorrow because I'll be in practice.
Go to Hattie B's if you can, stomach food.
Yeah, that's a great way to tease Hattie B's. See you tomorrow.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
This is a different court, Blair.
Same result, Slay.
Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jerry's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair?
The courtroom is where I play ball.
Boy, Durham, injury law. And that ain't got no roof.
It's Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're gonna fill us in there.
We can take care of it no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. You know, cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Mr. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any